And, you know, the whole my heart goes out to you tribute. But there is more. That's not going to be our only topic today. There is going to be a bit more we're going to talk about, but that is something I do kind of want to discuss because he's at it again. Well, I want to say they're at it again, but I don't even know how to say this one because yeah, like I said, it's happening quite often. And as a result, I want to get you guys' opinion on it. Now, this is Steve Bannon. Someone in the comments said it's just autism. Who said that? You're a bad man. Said it's just autism. I don't know. Does Steve Bannon have autism? Does he have Asperger's syndrome or something like that? By the way, is there any medical condition that leads you to do this kind of stuff? So, I mean, you know, listen, based on my own opinion, I say people make up all kinds of wild excuses to defend shit. I've never heard of a mental illness that makes you throw your hands up in the air like that. So, with Elon, it was Asperger's. So now we're talking about Steve Bannon, as you see on the screen behind me. Now, here is Steve Bannon again. So, whatever caused Steve Bannon to do it this time led him to do it again this time. So Steve Bannon has done it more than once. And there was no my heart goes out to you level of plausible deniability. So what I'm going to ask you folks is why is there so much of this orbiting around supporters of President Trump? I mean, call it what you may, because Trump has already stated he's done more for blacks than any president since Abraham Lincoln. There's a lot of folks out there that are people of color that voted for Trump. But why is this stuff orbiting around his campaign so much is what I want to ask you folks. Why is this? What does this mean? Is this something that should just be ignored? Because they seem to keep doing it. They actually seem to keep doing it. So it has to be noteworthy or at least something that they think is a good thing. They think it's cool or something like that. So we're going to talk about that. Hopefully some of you folks can explain to me what the hell they're trying to say by doing this so damn often. I mean, Trump has only been president, what, a little bit over a month? He took office, what was it, January 20th? And today is only the 23rd? And you've had all of this going on. Now, by the way, this isn't the only thing we've had where you got Steve Bannon throwing up these salutes. Obviously, Elon Musk threw up his own salute. There's Elon Musk throwing his up. Now, in addition to the salutes, there's been a bunch of other things. You know, Elon Musk Elon Musk fought to rehire a staffer that was openly racist. I mean, he actually said the phrase, "I was racist before being racism was cool," or something like that. He said, you know, normalize hate of Indians. And we're talking about the ones in the country, India, not Native Americans, but he's talking about them. Elon Musk is also opening our doors up to essentially the perpetrators of apartheid in South Africa. They're allowed to come to America now. I don't hear anything about the black South Africans, but the other side. And in addition to that, he went and told the AFB group, a far right-wing group in Germany, that they should stop feeling guilty about what Adolf did in that era. You know, he said basically your grandparents, and I mean, literally the era. He's singling out the era. So I'm asking that question, why is there so much of this stuff coming out? Now, I've talked to a host of folks who will tell you that it's liberal fear-mongering. Folks are just trying to brand these individuals as intolerant or bigoted or whatever the hell it may be. Okay, fair enough. But I want to ask you folks is why does so much material keep coming forward? If these are loving gentlemen that love everyone, that views everyone as equal, why is there so much material coming from him in such a short period of time? I understand when folks say the liberal media does this and the mainstream media you can't trust, but the liberal media, the mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, none of them are making them go out in public and do this stuff. Nobody is making them do this. So I want to ask you folks, what the hell what message are they trying to convey? It's happening too often. It's happening too often. Like I said, the media is not making them do this. They're doing it on their own. So we're going to talk about that. Additionally, I want to ask you folks, why is Trump suggesting that Zelensky and the Ukrainians started the war? Where is that coming from? We don't have an ally on the planet that believes the Ukrainians started the war. So where is Trump getting that from? Big Dog, yeah! Appreciate the hat and mustache. Big Dog, thank you very much for the opening support. Where is he getting this from that the Ukrainians started the war? So we'll talk about that in addition. And last but not least, similar to Vladimir Putin, Trump is demanding, and I can't find my other damn tab. Oh, Trump is demanding that the Ukrainians hold an election. He referred to Vladimir Zelensky as a dictator, stating that the country is overdue for an election. Now, I'm going to ask once again, why would he be promoting an election for the Ukrainians in the middle of a war? Keep in mind, there are some circumstances as to why they may not be holding an election, such as you got a war, you got men are in trenches all over the country. Men are out out fighting the good fight. So getting them to show up to a polling place, not only is that not safe, what are the logistics behind that? This is what would need to happen if they're holding an election, as Trump is suggesting they do. Also keep in mind, war causes displacement. People flee war zones. And they don't just flee around the country, they leave and flee outside of the country. Poland has well over 1 million Ukrainians as refugees. Romania and other neighboring countries have Ukrainian refugees as well. How do you hold an election in the middle of all that when a lot of the citizens are not even in the country? And last but not least, I think we all know that Russia currently occupies a good portion of the Ukraine right now. I believe they estimated it to be about 20% of the Ukraine is occupied by Russians. So how does those 20% get to vote in an election when they don't even have freedom? They don't even have access to the Ukrainians at all. I mean, Russia is occupying that part of the country. So why is Trump promoting an election? I do want to hear from you folks. So we're going to make it a shorter topic. But the main thing I wanted to talk to you about is why the hell is Steve Bannon doing this? We're going to talk about the Ukrainians as well. So you know how the program is ran. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone. We are always MAGA friendly. Been MAGA friendly since day one, about 4 years now. We go left to Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. So understand you don't have to have an opinion that is similar to anyone on the program. You can be critical of anyone in the comment section up to and including the host. That's how free speech works. So looking in the comments right off, your live audience is way less now. I don't know what's going on. That's on the YouTube thing. I don't know. Usually when it starts, it picks up. So give it a little time. And I appreciate the compliment there. Your bad man says good show. Joy Reid, Harvard graduate. What does that got to do with this? What does they got? So what is Steve Bannon? What is he trying to say? Let me go straight to the box. Traditional American. Good evening. Welcome to the program. What do you see when you see this stuff happening? What does this mean? That's what I want to find out. We'll give it a moment. Let me switch over to Wi-Fi because the box is acting stupid already. Let's see if we can bring up Traditional American. Give it a moment to reset. While that's happening, as a 143-year-old Democrat, I'm extremely mad. Donald Trump is coming after my Social Security. Unfortunately, that's been debunked and proven false that there are no 150-year-olds getting Social Security benefits, but that is comical. I do like the punchline on that. Wonder how Rachel Maddow feels about Joy Reid being fired. Joy was always on Rachel's, her cuck, is that what you're saying? And like a lapdog. How does one person feel about another getting fired at the same network if they have the same opinion? If they're close friends, I guess they'd be a little bit disappointed. I mean, I was disappointed when Bill O'Reilly got fired off of Fox, and he was the top man. Eric Bolling got fired off of Fox. Kimberly Guilfoyle got fired off of Fox. I mean, it happens. It actually happens. So, Joy Reid, her time at MSNBC is up. Chris Cuomo got fired off of CNN. So did Don Lemon. That's kind of how the business works. That ain't something special with MSNBC. It's Joy Reid. It is Joy Reid's turn this time. But Fox News, my God, Tucker Carlson got dropped from Fox News. A lot of these folks got dropped. In fact, I think everyone I just named, except for Joy Reid, because it just happened, they've all went on to have successful careers elsewhere. Eric Bolling, I think, is on Newsmax. O'Reilly is doing very well online. Guilfoyle is married into she was married into the Trump family, but she's gotten plenty of money, Kimberly Guilfoyle. I mean, they're all doing okay. Chris Cuomo is on News Nation now, and they're doing very well. So Joy Reid will pick up, and she'll appear somewhere else. That's kind of how it happens. We'll go back to the box. My last caller dropped out. Mike, good evening or welcome to the program, Mike. Good time. Now, I missed you were on here last night. I think I missed you last night.
Yeah, you played me to the left, man.
Oh, come on.
Played me to the left me hanging after all that bullshit was going on.
Never that. Good to see you back on. So what the hell am I looking at on the monitor here?
You're looking at the sign. It's the same sign that Elon did. It's the same thing.
So my heart goes out to you as harmless?
Yeah, if that's what it was. But you know it's not. My heart goes out to you. But the funny thing is, they're not even hiding it anymore, right? Why would they? Why should they?
That is my concern. As it is starting to look like they're feeling comfortable doing this shit out in the open.
Well, 100%. Because you know the funny thing about last night, when you didn't bring me up last night, that's okay. I'm still, Hey, listen, but before we dive into it, hey, listen, there's 90 people in here. Let's tap the screen, share the
Appreciate that.
Give the host. He working hard. You guys got to remember, Tim is bilingual because he's learned Maganese. He's been speaking Maganese for 3-4 years now. So we got to really, give him the love that he deserves. So tap the screen, share the live with our bilingual co-host or our bilingual host.
Right. Thank you, sir. Just for you, your names and likes. There you go. Appreciate it.
All right.
So
appreciate it. So listen. So what you were talking about, all the subjects you want to talk about, I did notice that your agenda, and it's been like this for the last couple of weeks. Actually, since the election, you're starting to have less and less to talk about from the what they campaigned on, and more talking about what's actually happening, right? It's like we're not having those conversations anymore.
You are correct, because in the beginning, he was leaning towards promises made, promises kept. He was deporting folks. He's never done anything about the economy, but he did run on lowering the price of eggs and all. I don't see anything at all being done about the economy, but he was doing a hell of a lot about the border. But you are right. As time has went on, the stuff he's doing now, he didn't campaign on none of this stuff, which is probably why a lot of my MAGA viewers see me as being more critical of Trump, because, he's doing a whole lot of things he never campaigned on.
That's why I brought it up. So we know what that sign is behind you, Tim. We can't even hide it. Matter of fact, and if anyone, we already know what MAGA Reacts and those guys are going to do, but it is what it is. It's right in our face. Everything that they're doing is what was outlined already. We
appreciate it, Jessica.
At length.
Okay, but how do you respond to it? Thank you, Jessica. How do you respond to the fact that there's still a hell of a lot of black MAGA and people of color that support Trump, even with this stuff going on?
Well, what we talked about, when people are so far down that rabbit hole, you expect people to come on here and just admit that they were wrong now? Is that what, I'm not looking for it. I don't expect it.
I do it all the time, Mike. I do it all the time. I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong.
Yeah, but how many of your MAGAs have come on here and done the same?
I've had a couple.
How many people in the comments tonight, on your show tonight, you will get people saying that behind you is not what it is?
I'm definitely eager to hear somebody tell me this is not, because like I said, in this case, the guy's done it more than once. So it's like, what the hell is he trying to say?
You got it superimposed somehow, Tim. That you got it all wrong. I know on your YouTube channel they're doing it right now. that thing that's not the thing that we see, right? It's not that, because they're not that. That's what they say. Although Steve Bannon doesn't apologize for it at all.
No. Well,
Doesn't apologize for it.
Elon Musk didn't apologize for it either.
100%. So if you thought you were doing something offensive to somebody, even if you thought that it was offensive, wouldn't you at least address it? To say that's not what I meant, even if you don't tell them what you actually meant, you would at least say that's not what I meant.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but that has never been the MO of the Trump administration. They've never...
Listen. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've never done that. I mean, even from Trump's first term, he has never been one to either apologize or clear things up. He's always left it hanging. I mean, even the whole grab him by the you-know-what, he left that up to the people to come up with locker room talk. He didn't originally say that.
Right, and so that's what we're doing today. Listen, my message has always been, I am reacting to what they're presenting. I don't have to make it up. I don't have to go any further than what they're putting in front of me. I don't have to go Google Steve Bannon. I know Steve Bannon by what Steve Bannon has presented to us, right? Yeah. Steve Bannon is at CPAC. Steve Bannon is a convicted felon, right? And he just pled guilty to some more charges. But yet they put him probably right up on that stage and CPAC hasn't came out and said anything against it happening.
No.
Again,
nothing at all.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and try to excuse it. But what I do find interesting, they haven't said anything about Mr. Enrique following those capital.
Oh my God! I just posted a video, and he talking about the leader of the Proud Boys going off on that. What is his name? What is the Capitol Police officer's name? Finone or something like that.
Something like that.
My God! What the hell was that?
Following it is what they've been doing, Tim. He is being who he's been. They pardoned that person, but have the nerve to talk about other pardons. It's sickening because it's just who they are, and that's why I don't give them any. I don't give them. And here's what I've been trying to. What I've been saying to you the whole time. That's why I refuse to try to give them any. Well, I'm gonna play devil. I can't play devil's advocate for what I see. I can't think that Steve Bannon would do anything in my best interest. Why would I think that?
So with both Bannon and Elon Musk caught on video doing that, what do you believe, if you had to give your opinion, what do you believe the Trump administration has in store based on what they're doing with the symbolization with that?
They're running their play of Project 2025. They are implementing their plan. It is white Christian nationalism on full display. They're not hiding it. Their followers believe that they're trying to do the right thing with Doge and all this other stuff. Let me say this. In your lifetime, we've all worked a lot. Anybody listening to this could if you work 9 to 5, and once you get off the clock at your job, you have no other obligation to that job, right?
Right. Well, it depends on the job, but usually no.
Yeah, usually no, right?
Yeah.
So why would Elon go Friday or Saturday and tell federal workers that they have to tell them the five things they did this past week, and if they don't respond to that email, consider it a resignation? Now, there's nothing legal about that.
No.
Zero.
In my opinion, the reason they doing that is simple. You ever see somebody, you just, let's say you got a chick over your house and you just want a reason to argue with her. Like, damn, you coughing like that? You gonna wear your shoes with open toe? I mean, you just finding reasons to get. He is literally trying to find reasons to fire as many people as possible. It could be anything, which is why I mentioned earlier that the FAA workers, if they do believe that too many folks in the aeronautic industry has been fired, they're not going to speak up because they are clearly looking for reasons to fire people.
They are, but what they're also opening the government up to, which nobody's paying attention to, is lawsuits. But
you do have the right-wing Supreme Court, though. You think those suits going to be reliable?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because here's the thing. Trump is going to the point where he is forcing some of his, even the Republicans in Congress, they're not saying anything. They're letting the courts figure it out. Yeah. They're letting the courts do it. They're not going to come out. They're just going to let the courts figure it out. And the courts have, and the sad part is they're putting it all on the courts.
How the hell would you? I mean, when you think about the sheer number of people he's fired, like, damn, if they start suing, how the hell would you pay that off?
That's the whole point, Tim. They don't care. They're fleecing America. They're going to look back and go, y'all figure it out. That's what's going to happen. You guys clean up the mess, and it's going to be a mess because here's the thing. When you sent those emails out over the weekend, you can't expect everybody to be at their computers and respond to that. If they don't, they lose their job. That's an easy.
Well, but I'll say this though: the boss, the actual, a lot of their bosses in the State Department and some of those places are telling them not to respond to the email. So if they don't respond to the email, does Elon himself have the ability to check all of those emails and see who responded and who didn't?
Absolutely not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You talk about people playing in your face. It's just silly. It's just silly, and they believe it. They're talking about $5,000 checks and receiving stimulus, and all of that is a bunch of garbage, man. They haven't audited anything. It's just ridiculous that they believe this stuff because they're not thinking.
I'm hearing that the man is. I got folks telling me that Trump is the best president we've ever had. The guy needs to have his face on Mount Rushmore. You sound like you're speaking differently.
Yeah, because they're looking at him like he's a quarterback or he's a starting point guard. They're looking at it as a game. It's not a game, man. This is real life stuff.
Jobs.
You've been watching those clips from all these town halls, right?
I don't think that, something, my opinion on that is different. I got hammered by Dan Cal and some of you folks. I don't think those town halls are as significant as you guys believe they are. I think that for the most part, well over 90% of MAGA are not currently feeling any heat from what they're doing. Now, once it starts, let's say Medicaid or Social Security or something gets hit, that's different. But I think for the most part, most Trump supporters are still fairly happy with what he is doing, and they are not feeling heat. It's kind of a thing like, I really don't give a damn what he does as long as he does it to someone else. So unless it affects them specifically, they're okay with it. I don't care how many people are out of work or how much they're struggling. If it doesn't happen to them, they don't see anything negative about it.
I see, and I disagree. Well, no, let me say, I agree about some points you made, but I also believe that there's a lot of them that are not going to be vocal about it. There's a lot. Listen, it takes a lot for somebody to step out and share their grievances on something that has been so. It's been such a lightning rod. Like, we haven't seen an election cycle like this. So the people. You're
saying they don't want to admit they fucked around and found out.
100%. Some won't even go to those town halls. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this. This is what I believe, and I think you asked it the other day. If the election was today, I don't think he would win. I think there's enough of those supporters that are pissed the hell off that are like, this has gone too far, because they didn't think it would get this far. Because Tim, how many times do people come on your show and go, oh, you know how he just talks?
Yeah.
You know how he just talks?
Yeah, I do believe he's doing a lot of things that people thought were a joke, or, like you said, he's just exaggerating, or he's just, like the database he got rid of. I know for a fact, if I had told folks if Trump gets elected, he's going to delete the federal database on tracking corrupt cops, liberal fear mongering. There's no way in hell. Why the hell would he do that? He respects law and order more than you liberals do. But then, boom, it happened. So I do agree he is doing things that nobody expected. But
hey, it is so crazy when you talk about, and I know you got to go. When you talk about deleting the database, and you were talking about this last night, and MAGA reacts, spun itself into a plastic man. I mean, because he's talking about federal cops and all this, he just has no clue what he's talking about. Because and he and I were going back and forth in the comments. If he just would have did a simple Google search on federal law enforcement officers arrested, he would have saw dozens of them.
Yeah.
Right? Dozens of them. So the idea that it's not a thing, but that's the database we know about. That's the database we know about.
That's a good point.
The things that they're telling us versus the things that they're actually doing, he's replacing loyalists so they don't say anything. Yeah. People are not paying attention. I gotta say, regardless if you like Trump or not, he has a great strategy with those loyalists. That he is going to get far with that. We don't know how far, but the loyalist thing, man, that was a great strategy. I gotta move it on, Mike. Thank you. All right, brother.
All right. Appreciate it. Going on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Get us up to about 10,000. You heard the man. Tap the screen, get the likes up if you will. Real quick, looking at the comments here. I don't know what I just hit there, but and I voted Trump, says Daily Victory. Then you should be happy. You won. Your name is Daily Victory. You voted Trump. You won. You should be happy. Economy was his #1 campaign promise. Yeah, and I don't hear anything with that. In fact, I was debating with somebody in the comment section on one of my videos, and they did say Trump is the greatest ever. And I responded back by saying, hey, it's possible he may turn out to be a great president. But how can you say he's the greatest ever right now with eggs being $8 for a dozen of eggs or whatever the hell they cost, and the price of nothing has come down? How does he get to be the greatest ever right now in the middle of all of that? So I do believe the bar for what dictates if Trump is a good president or not, at least from his supporters, is pretty low. I think the fact that he stuck it to the liberals, has gotten all the LGBTQ stuff under control, and is lighting a fire to DEI and removing it from our society. I think some of that stuff right there is enough for MAGA to give him an A+, even if the economy never moves at all. I think he's sticking it to the liberals, sticking it to our adversaries, pitting our enemies up against the wall and making them pay. I think that's all that was needed, which is why some folks are saying his face should be on the side of Mount Rushmore. Looking in the comments, Mr. Splagville, over $10 million in golfing fees. Where is Doge? There's no way. No, 10 million. You trying to tell me Trump has spent 10 million in golfing fees in a month? That can't be right. You have to show me some data on that. I know the man likes to golf, but oh man, I'm going to take flack when I say this, but I'll give him credit because he takes all sorts of interviews and things like that at the golf course. My guess is he's probably doing some work. I don't see Trump at the golf course as I would a normal president. I still think he does work. He'll sit out on the golf course and talk to reporters for an hour or two. That's work. So I'm going to give him a little bit of credit. I know my liberals might not like that. Anyway, going back to the box, and thank you folks that are tapping the screen. They want to respond to a no one cared that they would shit in the fields and not wash their hands and pick your food. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Susan, Sean rather, if the country, if commie law was elected, I guess you're saying Kamala, but you're saying commie like she's a communist. If commie law was elected, I wonder what the conversation on this channel would be. Probably would still be Trump there, Sean. Great question, because Trump is a master in interjecting himself in the middle of conversations. Remember, Biden just left office. And I'll tell you, I've been doing this for 3-4 years. Most of my conversations, most of my lives still contain Trump. Because commie law, as you put it, Kamala Harris, would go back to boring politics. She would be just like Biden, just like the Obamas, Bushes, Reagans, whatever. You hear from the president once or twice a month. They're running the country, and the country is going smoothly. You wouldn't have Kamala Harris constantly all these firings would definitely not be happening. Guaranteed that would not be happening. The Ukraine issue would probably be still chugging along with America continuing to give money to the Ukraine so that they could put up a good fight. I don't know how long that shit would last under Kamala Harris. It's going to end a lot quicker under Trump, but it ain't going to be favorable to the Ukrainians. So I think the news would be a lot slower if Kamala Harris was in office. But what would we be talking about? The trolling of Trump. At this point, Trump will still be saying the election is stolen and demanding that we have recounts and investigations. And with a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court, I think some of those will get through. What were we doing? Okay, Trump's been in president almost 5 weeks. I think 5 weeks as of tomorrow. What were we doing 5 weeks into Biden's presidency? We were being told that Nancy Pelosi was going to be arrested. Trump still controlled the military. He was going to be put back in office in the middle of March. he was going to be like the 17th president of the corporation or some shit. I mean, he was still heavily involved. My guess is if Kamala Harris had won, the same thing would be happening now. Going back to the box, the one and only Top Dog. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Top Dog.
What's up, Tim?
Not much at all, man. So you see what's on my screen. What does that mean to you?
Man, like the last caller said, Tim, you know what it is. You know, they getting bold with it, which we all said this during the election. You know, racism is going to come out more. They're going to be more bold with it, and there you go.
Yeah, but how do you respond to folks who might suggest that they haven't exactly done anything and that maybe this is being misinterpreted? Maybe you're taking it out of context, as they always say.
Man, my eyes don't fool me, Tim. I see it with my eyes. You know what I mean? So, and then plus based off his background, his history of being racist and been doing racist things, you know, so yeah, we're not crazy.
Well, we're not even
gonna play that game with him. We know what we see, so we ain't gotta go back and forth about it. You know what I mean?
But if you're saying he has a history of doing racist things, then of course we're gonna ask examples. That's what folks are gonna say. He hasn't done anything racist, so what's making you say that?
Well, just like I tell anybody when they ask me, why do I say Trump racist? At this point, I just tell them to Google it. I'm not going to go down a list of the things that he does. Google it. You know what I mean? We passed that at this point. What? And all MAGA Republic. Well, show me how he's racist. Tell me how he's racist. I tell them straight up, Google it. I'm not going to go down a list and give you this. No, you know what I'm talking about. You just don't want to admit it.
Yeah. Well, you know, racism is something like that. I do kind of agree with you. People, you know, racism is something that people, for the most part, they deny. I mean, wear masks, you meet at nighttime, you deny it. I mean, even now we got groups pulling up in U-Haul trucks and shit with masks on. Nobody wants to proudly say, I am this. They all kind of hide it. So I do agree with that. But have you seen anything, though, from the Trump administration to make you say, yeah, they seem like they're a bit intolerant, other than salutes and shit?
Oh, I mean, you know what? Just look at all the executive orders he's doing. Everything he's doing is to hurt minorities. You know, so that right there shows to make me feel, yeah, they got racism up there. Look what everything they're doing to affect minorities. You know what I mean? Yeah, they did one thing to affect the rich white man.
Give me something you see, just for my audience, because a lot of folks don't know what the hell you're talking about. Give me something in your opinion they've done that affects minorities negatively.
Well, we can just go with, we can go into something recent just with that firing of that 4-star general yesterday. He's a minority. That right there shows people that's a minority that, hey, just you might do everything right, and all you do is follow command, and you still gonna get fired based off I believe it's based off racism. I don't think this is conduct. I don't think this is DEI pushing. He came into that. He was only the leader, Tim, for what, 14, 15 months? Yeah. He was put in office October 2023. So,
yeah, I look at that firing, and I do kind of wonder when you look at the guy's resume. I think he's been in the military his whole life, and I think they said 41
years.
Yeah,
the guy that replaced him with Tim, he's a 3-star general, retired. So they pulled a guy that's retired, that's a 3-star general. They're going to bump this man up 3 more levels. They're going to give him his 4 stars and give him 3-4 more ranks.
Yeah.
Positions, I'll say that, not ranks, but positions.
Now, in the comments, I think it says It's Too Deep rightfully points out every president changes their job. So he's saying that every president does that. And I kind of agree with him, but there is one exception. When he's not coming out and saying, as what you said, it's too deep. Every president he's saying he's blaming it on DEI. He's actually not saying he's doing it in the tradition of what most presidents do. He's indicating this guy's a DEI hire with 40 years of service and he doesn't have merit. So you can't compare him to every other president because every other president don't say some shit like that. So, but you believe it's race.
This is where MAGA and the Trump administration get DEI confused. See, people think DEI, they think, well, you're not just because you're black or just because you're Hispanic. You only got to because you're black. No, the people that got those positions, they still had to pass every damn test that the white man had to pass. They didn't get no easier test. You know what I mean? They don't get that 4-star general, he didn't get the easier test because he's black. He took the same test that everybody else takes. Yeah. See, MAGA and Trump administration, Tim, they believe DEI is, oh, well, you're black, you get that position. No, what we mean by DEI is if there's 10 positions, damn, can at least 1 or 2 be a black or a minority instead of all white? That's all we asking for. We're not asking for, well, when it comes to testing for this job, you know, like the air traffic controller, they said, well, the guy was DEI. No, the air traffic controller, Tim, had to pass every test that everybody else had to pass.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. But in the comments, somebody's responding. I don't know. I can't see the name, but he said, "Who cares?" Well, the people who care are all the minorities that are getting let go because every one of these positions, he's replacing a minority with a white dude. I mean, like he's not putting any minorities in at all. It's as if he cannot find a single minority that has enough merit to put on his cabinet. You're replacing all these people with white dudes.
What's going on here, Tim, is this is what's going on. Based off statistics, in 2045, the white race will be our minority. The majority race in America will be the Hispanic race. So what Trump and his team is doing, they realize that. So they realize, okay, in 20 years, if we do not stop this and put in other races before us, in 20 years, we will not be the dominant race. We will be a minority race, and the Hispanics will be the majority race.
So you're covering replacement theory.
Yeah, that's what's going on here. That's why he's putting every position. He's putting a white man to, we're going to take back this country. We're going to lead how we believe it should be done.
Like I said, there's a whole lot of MAGA that tells you know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, like you say, MAGA, they don't want to admit it. It only been a month. So they're not going to come out right now and say, yeah, you know, we messed up. We made a mistake. You know what I mean? Some is never going to say it. But like I said, it only been 1 month, Tim. We still got a whole lot of time left for Trump. We just getting started.
Will it get any better?
I don't. Well, people losing their jobs, the way he's still talking about slashing more jobs. No, I don't see it getting better no time soon. I think what he's going to do is piss a lot of Americans off, and in come 2 years, in midterms, he's going to piss a lot of people off. And they're going to get out and vote to switch up the Senate and the House, and we're going to go from there. Well,
before I move on from you, you attracted the number one comment that you often hear, particularly coming from the right, but I hear your criticism, and I kind of agree with most of what you're saying, but Sean states that, so, you know, basically says, so you can leave the country if you don't like it. So in other words, if you don't like what's going on, you can leave your homeland.
Well, at this point, and you tell him just like this, well, my family, we was taken from our homeland 300-400 years ago. So actually, we don't know where to go. Yeah, we know it's Africa, but we don't know where to go. And at this point, this is my home right here now, Tim.
Yeah.
What I'm going back over there for at this point.
Yeah, you raise a good point, because I've often heard people tell me on the show, you know, what the hell does slavery have to do with you folks now? You're not affected by that. And that is my number one answer I often give is, we don't know where we're from because of it. We do not know where our homeland is. Like you said, you want me to leave? Where am I going to go? I don't even know where I'm from. I mean, so we don't know anything about the culture, the religion, the language, nothing. We lost all of that. So yeah, I agree with you. You can't tell somebody to go when you've taken every identifying factor away from them.
Yeah, so when they say that, I don't want to hear that crap, Tim. You know, so right here, we in America right now, this is where my family is, where my mother is, my father is, this is where you is, where everything I know is right here. So I'm not going back to no Africa, let's be honest.
All right, fair enough, top dog. Thank you for coming through, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tim.
All right. Moving on with the program, by the way, tap the screen. Take the sub lock off, please. Big dog, you're responding. I know what you're talking about. We shouldn't pay people to work that we don't need. So if 30 paramedics show up to help and you only need 2, you should pay off. No, you know something, Sean? I appreciate your participation. Sean is really dropping stuff in the comments. I'm trying to find my damn cup, but I appreciate your participation. But here's my response to that before I move on with the show and tap the screen. I agree with you. No, we should not pay people to work that we do not need. However, from my own analysis, looking at the nuclear engineers he let go and things like that, I don't believe everybody we're firing constitutes as people we don't need. I mean, the guy is on stage with a what do you call it? A chainsaw. I don't think he's really going through the ranks and making sure we don't need this person or this person's redundant or we can get rid of this person. He stated sometimes you got to delete whole agencies. I think just the whole nuclear mess up shows that he's gotten rid of people that should not have been gotten rid of. And I don't think those are the only ones. In fact, I'll tell you this, while we're celebrating the work of Elon, he's been caught saying and doing several things. In the only, what has it been, 5 weeks, almost 5 weeks as of tomorrow? A lot of information that's come from him has been inaccurate. So I don't just buy into what you're saying, which is, should we have to keep paying people that we don't need? He's not being accurate with it. Mike, appreciate the galaxy. Thank you, Mike, the boss. Appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, he's getting rid of folks that are, but I just don't think he's doing the legwork. They're just pointing, get rid of them, get rid of all them, get rid of all them, and they're just going down the line. And as I believe it was Mike that said that, it's likely to come back to bite. I do believe there's going to come a time when we're going to realize we've let go of a bunch of people, and they're going to have to answer for that. We need to hire a bunch of people in this particular agency real quick because some kind of mayhem is going on, and they are completely understaffed based on what Trump did back in February of 2025. I believe it will happen. I do believe something like that may happen. Looking in the comments, though, real quick going on, they keep saying they want the best people, can't justify hiring Hegseth. That's a great point as well, is that even a lot of folks on the right would suggest that many of the folks that Trump put in his administration are not among the best and brightest. While we're talking about DEI, diversion, equity, diversity, it could be division at this point, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've asked this on the program many a time. If you get hired solely because you're white, you don't get called a DEI hire. And I definitely believe that some of that's happening in Trump's cabinet. I don't believe that. I think with Trump, white and loyal are the two chief concerns. Not necessarily always white, but certainly loyal. I suppose he would bring in a black person that's super duper loyal, but he don't seem to be finding any. So I'm going to say that must be part of it. But certainly loyalty. Loyalty is not merit. If you want to say get rid of DEI, affirmative action, make sure a person has merit, there's no merit in loyalty. I mean, so is it okay when he does it, but not okay when everybody else does it? Loyalty is not a condition of merit at all. You can find anybody to be loyal if you pay them enough or you threaten the hell out of them. You can find anybody to do that. That doesn't mean they know what they're doing at their job. Tap the screen, get the likes up. Hell, Tim Scott was loyal. Rod, yes, I do believe Tim Scott would be loyal. Some reason they didn't have any room for him, though. In fact, has Trump appointed or hired anybody black lately? Anybody Hispanic? I mean, listen, call it what you want, but he does seem to be on a warpath of hiring nothing but straight white males. I guess there's been a couple women in there. I mean, obviously his spokesperson is a woman. Christy Noem's in there, but it does seem to be overwhelmingly white males on his administration, on his staff. Is it just maybe there's no black people that have merit? Maybe not enough of them are educated? Can't find any of them to do the job? Moving on with the program, Tulsi Gabbard. What is Tulsi? She's an islander, isn't? Is she not a Pacific Islander or something like that? She's not. She's a person of color, though. Tulsi is definitely a person of color. Miss Mo Betta. Good evening.
Good evening, Tim. Good evening.
Hey. What am I getting wrong? It's a hell of a night. What do you see on the monitor?
It's a night for you, Tim.
Yeah, it gets like that. But on the monitor behind me, what the hell does that mean to you? Is that just...
Well, you know, he's of German descent. So, you know, right now it's like they're trying to adapt to the German politics. They're trying to bring that over here, in this country over here, to where let's all hell. We already know that the mustache man, how he ran things, and you know.
Do you think we would ever get that bad, though?
Let it work for them.
Do you think we would ever get that bad in this country? I mean, the mustache man did some pretty horrible things.
No, he was a real dirtbag. But no, it won't get that bad here because people over here are not having that shit. You like I said, then you really would see civil unrest. People are not having it. Although things are bad now, we are not our ancestors. You know what I mean? So some people are now. We're willing to take that charge for some bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I agree we're not our ancestors. I totally agree with that. But even still, sometimes you don't really know something's happening until it's right up on you.
True. That's why if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
I mean,
if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And you know what that DEI means? The DEI to them is like the new N-word.
Yeah,
N-word. What it actually means is it's diminish, eliminate, and incinerate. That's what's happening. They're diminishing people's job, eliminating people's livelihood, and incinerating the chance for them to go back and get it.
Wait, give me those acronyms again. Eliminate and incinerate. What was the first one? Diminish?
Diminish, eliminate, and incinerate.
I guess I was more happy when they said didn't earn it. Damn, you don't really make it with those.
Yeah, no, because the proof is in the pudding. Like I said, I work with people, and I've been at my job 18 years. I've been there, and there's people that have been there longer than me, and their department is being shut down totally. You know, and what are they to do? Because they're not going to be able to go apply for welfare. They probably go cut the unemployment. So what are they left to do?
But how do you respond to one of my guests in the comments? Sean stated, you know, why should we have to continue paying people that we don't need?
How do they know they don't need them? You just got rid of them. You don't know whether they needed them or not. He got rid of Mr. Brown, who is a whole decorated man with a spotless, an impeccable resume, and he got rid of him. Why? It's not like he got rid of the department. He got rid of him just to put some in there with less qualifications and stuff in there. So make that make sense.
You know, they're claiming that the guy apparently right after the George Floyd riots or something like that spoke positively or favorable for BLM or something like that, and I guess that's all it really takes.
Yeah. If you're not kissing Trump's orange ass, then you gotta go.
You don't think his ass is on? Wait. You don't.
Go step or fetch for me. Then you have no place in this government.
You don't think? Wait. You don't think his ass is orange now, do you?
God forbid. I don't even. I'm trying not to even envision what his ass looks like because his face is terrible.
That's Melania territory. She back there doing that.
Well, listen, she got it. You know those mail order brides. Listen, I'm gonna take you where I can get it. And he gave her family what did he get?
Citizenship.
Citizenship too.
Citizenship. Yeah, they got citizenship out of it.
They gotta go right along with everybody else.
No, they the most. Now that Melania is not one of the most powerful women in the world, thanks to him. So no, she ain't going nowhere.
Jesus. I for the life of me, it's terrible, and we don't have to be in this position. We don't have to be. He's doing the opposite of everything that he ran on.
I don't know about that. What do you mean by that?
The only thing that he did that he ran on was deporting people, and then he was deporting the wrong damn people.
Well, that's still happening. That is actually still.
He was deporting the wrong people. He was getting rid of people that are actually citizens, but they look brown. So
I got to give him more credit to that. Not only is he deporting folks, he's definitely shut off the border. He's recognizing two genders. He ran on doing that. What else has he done? I'm trying to think. He's not sending any more money to the Ukraine. He ran on that. I mean, he is doing some of the things he ran on.
And what makes that better?
I'm just telling you, he ran on it. People vote. He stated what he was going to do.
He stuck to his word. Okay, I'll give him that.
And that's what
he stuck to his word. But the word that we needed, he's not doing, which is lowering groceries and bringing our economy back up. He's driving us deeper and deeper into debt.
Well, the belief is that he's only been in there for a month, and you got to give him time.
No, he should have took his time when he got in there and figured things out before he went in there like some madman and just start cutting stuff. We're gonna slice this. Now, what is it gonna take to build that back up?
Is it possible that all of the firings that may save the federal government money may result into a better economy for us? Maybe they'll do something with that money that'll lead to, lower taxes, for instance. Is it possible that could happen?
In a good dream, yes, Tim. in a good dream, yes.
No.
You might get one off in that dream. But
Hey!
You're going to have so many people behind the eight ball it's going to send us in a recession.
I don't know. Why you say so many people are going to be behind the eight ball? I mean,
because you're letting people go because they didn't take the so-called buyout that he offered. You're just firing them, and you know what goes out? They won't have any health insurance, and unless they have, I don't know if they're allowing them to even take their 401k or buyout. But when you still have mortgages and stuff, that money, if you don't have anything coming in, that money's just going to be going out the window. Then again, what are these people going to do? What is everybody going to do?
I don't know. My observation and my opinion, I don't think nobody cares. I mean, it's only a few thousand people, as they say.
Well, apparently they don't care. Like I said, that's what happens when you have an oligarch. They don't care what happens to the little or the middleman. It doesn't matter to them because they feel I can afford to feed my family. Matter of fact, let's go buy up Ukraine. We're going to move over there and leave the people over here to their own device.
Yeah. In my opinion, if you can save people money, put more money in their pockets, more money in their bank account, lower the economy, they really don't care what you do. As I said on my program the other day, I think folks would be happy that you could bring back slavery. As long as you're making people happy, they don't care what's happening to somebody else over there.
Oh, yeah. All that for $1 that you can't get, that you won't get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now, people, I guess people gotta. I for the life of me, I don't even have a solution to shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't really help anybody else. You know what I mean? I have to pray that I can keep my job.
Can we continue? Because I know there's a hell of a lot of liberals that are upset, and I'm assuming some MAGA now with farmers and as you're talking about federal employees losing their jobs. Those certainly are not all liberals. Can we continue with this level of slowly growing unhappiness for another 4 years?
No, it's not going to end well, Tim. And look, they're going after the postal service too.
Yeah.
You're going after agency after agency after agency.
Yeah, basically, if you got a federal job, you're not safe. Period. I mean, if they're getting rid of generals and admirals, if you got a federal job, you're not safe, no matter what it is.
Right. And see, this is the thing. This is the thing that gets most people because how is it that Elon can still continue to get his contracts fulfilled and everybody else is cut? If you're talking about cutting the government, you're going to shut it all down. We got to start at the top and work our way down. You understand what I'm saying? But he's getting millions, 300 million on one contract, 400 on another one.
You know the weird thing is, it's interesting you mentioned the contracts that Elon Musk is getting. For all of the money he's worth, being the wealthiest person on earth, he is not known as a charitable person. I don't know why. You don't hear anybody bragging about how he helped them out or something.
Have you heard his father speak? Have you heard his father speak?
No.
You'll see where he gets it from.
Yeah, you know.
His father's a nasty dirtbag piece of shit, which had a baby with his stepdaughter.
Really?
Oh yes.
That sounds like something.
You know what his justification for that was? Oh well, me and the mother were divorced.
Damn. Sounds like something straight off the hook.
His didn't want to live with him either because he was a piece of shit. His father's a vile man.
That sounds like something straight off the hub. You slept with your stepdaughter.
He had a baby with his stepdaughter.
Wow. Damn. I don't know. I mean, listen. How old was the stepdaughter? It's consensual, ain't it?
Whatever. I guess as long as it's consensual, moral doesn't matter.
Well, man, I know you can bring out the man in me. If I'm married to somebody, I'm 50-something years old, so her daughter might be 25, 30 years old. If me and her don't make it and her daughter like me, am I supposed to turn her down? I mean, is she off limits?
Yeah, no, it's too many women in the world, Tim, for you to settle for somebody right in the house.
How am I settling? Wait.
That you raised from 4 years old.
That's different.
Us behind that.
That's different.
That's crazy.
That's different.
He's not the only one that did that. Morgan Freeman also did that.
Yeah, I read Karl Malone did something like that too at the 13. I didn't know he had raised her since she was 4. I'm saying, like, let's say I get with a chick now at my age, and I hang around her for a couple of years or whatever, and she has a 25, 30-year-old stepdaughter, and me and her don't make it, and a couple of years later, her daughter's trying to holler at me. Is she off limits?
Yeah, no, that's weird. That's weird as fuck.
It's a little weird. It is.
I'm sorry. It's a little weird. And again, it shows where your morals lie. And it'll tell me, listen, if you go to those depths, to that level of vileness or whatever, then I'm not expecting any kind of respect out of you from me.
Fair enough. I had to ask, because I see, not only are you getting me, and Mike getting me in the comments, Alter Ego says, Tim is showing you what kind of human being he really is, sad as fuck. No, I gotta ask these questions. This is what I do. I'm a plausible deniability. Plausible deniability.
Yeah, no, but say that one more time.
Plausible deniability. I'm not saying it's me. I'm just asking the questions. This is what I do. I have to ask those questions.
Yeah, it's good to ask the question. You know, if you want an answer to something, that's the only thing you got to do. You have to ask the question.
Yeah. And in regards to what you said, Top Dog in the comments said that the dad had 2 kids with the mom. So that's it gets real bad at that point. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, no, he's I mean, the father, and the father looked like Chris. What's the name? Bruce Jenner.
But he got money. You know, here's the weird thing though. If he's correct in saying that the father got with the mother and had 2 kids, but then slept with one, so some of his kids are also.
No, he had 2 kids with the stepdaughter.
Oh, okay. I thought he said with the mother. Okay, with the.
No. He had 2 kids with the stepdaughter.
That is.
He might have. I don't know if he had kids with the mother or not, but. He said, well, that we were divorced. Well, he didn't say we were divorced. He said she remarried. The mother remarried. So at that point, he felt that they were no longer relatives or, something like that. But again, it's just gross.
Yeah.
He's gross.
Yeah, that is kind of. I mean, I'll agree with your earlier statement. There's a whole lot of other women out there. You ain't got to necessarily go down that path.
What's the ratio? I mean, the ratio might be a little different now, but it's still at least 3 women to every 1 man.
Yeah, that sounds like something off the Springer show. But in the comments, caller, with all respect, if Elon whips it out, you opening your mouth. This is someone in the comments. What does that say? I can't pronounce the name. Something George. He's suggesting that if Elon, being the richest man on the planet, if all of a sudden he pulled out something, you putting it in your mouth. I'm gonna give you the floor on that.
I wouldn't have a chance to. Trump got that on lock. Trump got that shit on lock. And for you to even think about that stuff, they have plenty of pills and stuff now to help your penis grow. Get rid of your innie and leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, I was into the comment before I realized what he was saying. That's kind of vile, but like I said, I don't.
He just mad because he got an innie. He looked like he got a vagina. That's how far in his shit go. And don't worry about where I put my mouth. It ain't on you, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, to say something like that to somebody you don't know online is a bit vile, but we get them all. We get all types of
I ain't no trick. Ain't nobody could ever come to flash no money in front of me, and I'm just gonna spread eagle. Yeah. That's not how I do, because I gets mine.
Yeah. But I'm gonna play the devil's advocate part in his defense. If you are talking about the richest man on the planet, there's going to be no shortage of women that would do what he is suggesting.
Oh no, I ain't denying that. There's people right in the parking lot for the right price. They get it right in the fucking parking lot. Yeah. But that ain't. I would pimp his ass out though. I ain't gonna hold you on that. I pimp that mofo out.
Yeah.
I got somebody lined up that'll get that chicken, and we gonna split it.
What are you, a female magna? You pimping?
I can be that.
All right, Miss Mo. Always a pleasure. Thanks for coming through.
Indeed.
Hey, good talk. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Get the lights on up. You know what I always ask.
Tap that screen.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Miss Mobetta. Let your thumbs not be lazy. In the comment section, Will G says Trump ain't shit. MAGA ain't shit. And then he says smells like shit. God damn, Will. Trump being tyrannical, Musk is stealing personal information for AI purposes. MAGA loving the golden shower. The world is going to shit. I don't know if I can't speak on whether the world is going to shit, but I think I do agree with you that Elon Musk is trying to get his hands on personal information for AI purposes because he tried to purchase Open AI. He offered them 90 some odd billion, 94, 97 billion. It was 90 something. He tried to purchase Open AI for 94 or 97 billion or something like that. The board rejected his offer, but it does seem clear that there is a reason why he wants to get his hands on so much information. I don't think that that's even up for debate. And I'll tell you this before I go to my next caller. This is why I push back when folks suggest that Elon Musk has all the money in the world, you can trust him because he's not on the take, you don't need more money. He's doing a lot of business deals still. He is not just riding off into the sunset as the world's richest man. He is still doing all sorts of business deals. As a few of my callers pointed out, he's got contracts with the government, with Tesla, Starlink. He is still deeply involved in business. So clearly he wants to make more money. You don't hear him talking about he's giving it away. You don't hear him talking about any charity or organizations he's donating it to. And I'm not saying he hasn't donated any money. But what I am saying is he clearly is seeking to get richer. I don't think that's up for debate. So when people say we can't be bought, how do you know that? He clearly wants more money. So if you want more money, then you may have a limit. So I don't think anybody can say with confidence that he cannot be bought because he's seeking more money. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He is deciding if the poorest people in the world are entitled to any Social Security payments in healthcare. Wow, that is true, Charlie. He's saying that Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is deciding if some of the poorest people among us are entitled to any kind of entitlements like Social Security and healthcare. And that is happening. But it didn't start with Elon. I mean, a lot of the other wealthy people in this country were also totally against Obamacare and other entitlements. It's just fact is the haves don't like to share with the have-nots. That's kind of the way it is. That's why when you go into wealthy communities, it's all gated off. They don't want you there. They don't want to share. The Saudis are the richest men on the planet, says Samson. That ain't what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Elon Musk is the wealthiest. You're telling me there are Saudis out there that are wealthier than Elon? I'd have to see the evidence. I have not heard it. But it's way above anything that I'm worth, so damn it, maybe you're right. Going back to the box, and by the way, we are on Instagram for any of my MAGA viewers that may not favor TikTok. If you want to come over on Instagram, we can bring you up live there on Instagram as well. You do know all donations are written off on taxes. Yeah, you have the ability. Not that everybody does it, but yes, you can write donations off on taxes. But that's what I'm saying is that Elon Musk is not known as a very charitable person, and he's making tons of money. So in my opinion, he wants to make more money. Going back to the box, we'll go to Nicole Gooden. Good evening, Nicole. Welcome to the program. Good to have you on, Nick.
What's going on?
Just hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So, what brings you on tonight? Good to hear you. You've been something. You got your. Try that again. Your signal went out. Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, your signal's going in and out.
Okay. Okay. I'll try to be still. You do know.
I've had a lot of fun with that statement being made. Go ahead.
What the hell is going on?
This is what we elect. This is what we elected. This is what America wanted.
No, we did not elect him.
We do not. What's his face? Elon has bought his presidency. And now everybody's screwed. And that fuck around and find out shit is real.
Well,
It ain't over. This is we only like 30 days in, and everything is up for grabs. This is crazy.
what do you think we're headed to?
I think that he wants to get rid of all government so that he doesn't have to leave office.
So you do see some type of dictatorship in the making.
Oh, absolutely. Because
But he's like 80 years old, Nicole. He's like 80 years old. He said he wasn't trying to do that.
yeah, right. He lied. He said he was gonna lower groceries and everything else. He ain't doing that shit. Everything is going up. Every government agency that would do anything to stop him is either quiet or been fired. The Congress ain't doing nothing. The Supreme Court is already in his pocket and they gave him immunity. So if he gets rid of all of these government agencies, who's going to stop him?
Yeah, that could be a problem if what you're saying happens, but
He's writing all these executive orders every day. He's doing so much stuff. He learned a lot the first time, but he's doing so much stuff.
yeah.
He's coming so quick with everything. You can't even keep up. The Supreme Court can't keep up.
Yeah,
It's too much.
but how do you respond? Because one of my viewers said, it's wrong to say that. He says, I hate how people say that the majority of folks did not vote for him because they did. So how do you respond to the fact that, regardless of what you're saying he has done, more Americans voted for him than Kamala or anybody else that was running?
They did, and they probably regret it, or they will regret it. Just because the majority of people voted for him, that don't make that shit right.
What is
We
he?
sitting up in here.
What is he?
We sit here and we find out that we don't have any fucking social services, or your tax return ain't coming to 2026, or you not getting one. All of that type of stuff, then they gonna feel like, oh my God, what happened? What happened is that's what the fuck you voted for.
Well, I'm telling you, based on my observation, most MAGA are still quite pleased with what he's doing. I see you in the comments there, Stevie D, Trump, free speech.
That's not true, because, there are some MAGA that are still in support, right? So, I live in
Most are still happy.
Well, I'll give them half, right? So, I live in Naperville. My area is predominantly white, and it's a Republican area. I'm cruising down Ogden Avenue. There are people outside with protest signs saying, deport Elon and all of this different stuff. This is a Republican area. It's getting to the point where it's affecting people. Didn't nobody expect all these layoffs? Unemployment?
I'll agree with you that a lot of the federal government workers are not happy, but most MAGA do not have federal government jobs. It's not affecting them yet.
The post office?
I don't
He
think.
finna fuck with them. He ain't stopping at nothing. He don't care who he hurt. He don't care what he stopped. He gonna mess with Medicaid. He gonna mess with Medicare. All of the stuff that he promised. I think he damn near want to put us in a third world country.
Whoa! Wait. Why would he want to do that? Why would you think he would want to do something like that?
For control.
To turn everybody to turn the citizenry into an impoverished base. You really think he wants to do something that awful?
Yes, he is greedy, he is selfish, and he's a racist.
Okay, then how do you respond to folks who will say that he's been in office for 4 years already and he didn't do any of the shit you're just talking about?
Because he didn't get his second term.
So
Now he's in his second term. Barack probably wouldn't have gave gay rights if it wasn't for his second term. He wasn't in support of that the first time.
Right.
But when his second term came up, you do what you got to do to get in office. So he switched, and they helped him get elected the second time.
So
now he feels like the ring is off. He thinks he's a fucking king.
we did have a show on that. But you're saying that, in your opinion, Barack Obama's stance on gay marriage changed, as you say, he did what he had to do to get in office. I'm going to tell you that's why a lot of folks favor Trump, is because he lives up to what he's promising. He doesn't change. They like the fact that he has the moniker promises made, promises kept.
He lives up to the cruelties. He doesn't live up to actually doing the right stuff, right? So when I say cruelties, I mean like kicking out the immigrants. He lives up to stuff like that. As long as it's
how is that? But how is that cruel? Is that not what the people voted for? It ain't like he wasn't telling you he was going to do it. The people voted for that.
He's snatching up documented. He don't care. They're not even doing the checks and balances. They just don't give a shit. It's just, oh, you brown, let's go.
Damn. But is he not doing what he promised and what the people voted for?
Doing all that he promised. What happened to the tax cuts? What happened to the overtime? And what happened to the bringing down the grocery prices and the gas? That shit going up.
Is it?
Passing tariffs, that's making it worse.
If he was to lower the price of eggs and groceries, let's say over the next 3 months, let's say by Easter, you start seeing prices coming down, would you be happier with him then?
I guarantee he won't do that shit.
I feel you, but what if he did? Would that change your stance a little bit?
It would make my pocketbook feel happy.
That ain't what I asked you.
It would change my stance because I don't trust him.
So how?
Look what he did to Zelensky.
Well, once again, he ran on doing that though. Promises made, promises kept.
He acted like he was going to be a partner or, stop the war.
He made it clear. Wait. He made it clear that he believes this Zelensky was corrupt. The whole Burisma with Biden and Hunter Biden, he did not like Zelensky. I think everybody knew that. Even Zelensky knew that if Trump gets in office, things are not going to go well for them.
Right. But he was trying to act like in the first couple of days that he was really going to be a diplomat. And then to turn around and change the whole narrative and act like they started the war, like, what the fuck? Can we get some real facts here? Does everything that he has to come out his mouth be delusional?
Well, like I said, this is what the people wanted, Nicole. Promises made, promises kept.
Yeah, so you know what I expect. At this point, you taking back Black History Month and all that other kind of shit. I feel like they're going to ask us to report to the plantation and stuff.
Damn. Well, one of my callers, Miss Mobetta, that preceded you, she stated that black people ain't going to take that now. Is that we're a different group of people than we may have been in the 1700s.
No, it ain't going to happen. I mean, they may try it, but it's not going to happen. And look at his cabinet. He has no color in his cabinet except Patel. And whatever the hell he is, because he just an ass kisser. Well,
Vivek Ramaswamy was almost in his cabinet, and he was brown. He was an Indian.
It's ridiculous. It is. I have to watch the news all day because I cannot believe it.
Yeah, it is. He certainly has made news. He's made news interesting. I don't know for the right reasons, but he has made news very interesting.
Every day. That's fucking ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. And then the point that I was watching somebody on TikTok, she just had a baby. She's a federal worker. She just had a baby. She just found out she got fired. She doesn't have maternity leave. Like, this shit is crazy. You think what happened to the United CEO won't be far behind for other elected officials?
Whoa, you're saying that we could have some Luigi Maggionis or some LaQuisha Maggionis out there?
You can't keep fucking with people's lives. They are already on the edge. Yeah. For whatever dude did that for, because of whatever he was going through with his health insurance and stuff. And then United is in trouble because they've been billing people illegally. Like, you can't keep pushing corrupt on the people in their pockets. And then expect them to keep paying premiums, keep getting fired.
But wait a minute, though. I did ask you if prices started coming down. Now, I understand you said you don't think it'll happen because you don't trust them. But I asked you if prices started coming down, would that make you have a more positive or favorable view? You said still no. How do you respond to folks who might say that you come across as if he could cure cancer, you still wouldn't like the guy? Even if he brought down prices, you don't give him any credit.
I think that I agree with what you said the other day. I think that he is one of the most powerful presidents, and I actually think that he has the ability to do or be the most effective. But because he is alt-right and just all this other bullshit, he doesn't have the wherewithal to do the right thing, to govern the whole nation. Color people, white people, black people, whatever, brown people. He doesn't have that. He's only looking out for his and the rich.
What's your definition of his?
White and rich.
The man said he done more for blacks than anybody since Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, goddamn lie.
All right, Nicole. So in other words, the African American community are not going to be the way they were in the 1700s. In the words of Killer Mike, I told these motherfuckers I'm never scared. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't even have a gun, but for most of my friends, they ready. So I know most people have guns and all that other kind of stuff, and people not gonna take that. People are barely getting arrested. Black people are barely taking arrests well. So
black people ain't never took arrest very well. Nobody.
That's what I'm saying, like.
Go ahead.
But, you know, you see people having all-out shootouts. Like, what the fuck, man? Come on.
Hey.
And if you can have a January 6th with a bunch of people having their arms out at the fucking middle of D.C., could black people have done that? Do you think that?
You could have done it, but you wouldn't be around to talk about it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be like the leader of the Proud Boys was out. Actually, he was accosting one of the Capitol Police officers that they beat up. He was on video, I think, within the last few days, cussing the dude out and trying to pick a fight with him. The guy done got pardoned for beating up the Capitol Police, and now he don't went back to the guy threatening to kill him or threatening to beat his ass again. Like,
and that's the problem. They feel more emboldened and more empowered because he let their asses out. Now they don't have to worry about repercussions. He feel like, and that's his backup. You know, that's like his gang outside of, you know, the army or anything else. He know if he say the right thing, they'll come.
And that's why I say he's one of those. And if what you're saying is correct, that's why I say he's probably one of the most powerful commander-in-chiefs we've ever had. Nicole, I do got to move it on. Good talking to you. Appreciate you coming through.
Homies.
Hey.
Keep up the good work. I love your show.
Good shit. Thank you. Moving on with the program, by the way, tap the screen. Show your boy some love. Get the likes up to about 40,000. We can make that happen. 40, Thou, 40,000. Looking in the comments, meaning the rich will write off donations just to get it back. Oh, I get what you're saying. In other words, you can be charitable if you're wealthy and then write it off so that you get some type of tax benefit or tax break. So essentially you ain't gave away shit. I get what you're saying. That is true. Trump and Elon are not charitable. They are not shit. You got me working overtime. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of Trump being very charitable either. But certainly Elon, with that kind of wealth, you would assume that he would be, you know, there would be a lot more folks talking about how much he's done for this person or that person. And I don't know if he's been known to be charitable at all. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but not so far. Looking in the comments, it's all fun and games until we will actually need the stuff Doge is cutting, for example, USAID. Won't be there where a national crisis, when a national crisis happens. Trump and Elon will be looking like deer in the headlights. Well, probably the goal is that if it collapses, they won't be around in power anymore. Well, maybe, if he's going to run for a third term, as some of you guys are saying he will be. But I agree with you. I do agree that they've cut things too thin. And it's in one of these departments, sooner rather than later, it's probably going to come back to bite. We are going to find out something is happening and there's not enough employees in that area to deal with it because they've cut so many people. I could see that happen. I really could. Because I said in the beginning of the program, I don't believe they're really paying attention to the people they're cutting. They're not doing it based on needs of the business. They're just trying to get rid of as many people as possible. I just think that they're really just trying to cut as many people that might be opposition in some form or another throughout various branches of government, as many of them as they can get rid of. I don't think they're even paying attention to who gets cut. Just cut as many people as you can. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are still in competition for the richest man. How much you want to bet that they will be the first trillionaires by the end of the decade? I think that would be a losing bet, certainly with Elon, because Trump is pretty much giving him, the keys to the country. So Elon absolutely will become a trillionaire, and Jeff Bezos is favorable to Trump. So I don't think Trump's going to really get in his way either. But outside of Amazon, what else is Jeff Bezos involved in? Somebody let me know in the comments. I believe that's his biggest baby is Amazon. Whereas Elon Musk is involved in a host of different projects that are getting government contracts. So yeah, he's going to probably put some distance between him and Jeff Bezos because he got access to all of our tax money. And the more tax money they save by firing every damn body and cutting out all of the entitlement programs, that's more money that can go to him and his programs. I don't think people are going to really push back because certainly MAGA favors Elon. They're not going to question what Elon is getting. They're not doing it now. So my guess is Elon will definitely put a little bit of distance in terms of wealth between him and Jeff Bezos. MAGA is living vicariously through these racist billionaires, says John, and they are not giving them a penny more. So strange. Well, that's what I stated earlier in the program, is that I think the bar that dictates whether Trump and Elon Musk are doing a great job has nothing to do with the economy at all. As I keep pointing out, I got folks in the comments, in my DMs, people out that I'm friends with telling me Trump has done so well, his face should be on Mount Rushmore. And I keep saying, wow, eggs are $8 a dozen. While you're still paying $3 to $4 a gallon, you want to put his face on Mount Rushmore right now? So, in other words, the economy ain't even part of it. You don't even need to lower the economy prices. You've stuck it to the LGBT. You've shut the liberals up. You've taken away a woman's right to choose where you want, states' rights, where you want. I do believe that will expand, by the way. But you've already had enough victories that we believe you're the best that has ever been, even if the economy doesn't change. And by the way, you've done such a good job, we're going to assume you're going to probably fix the economy as well. That's the mindset. Continuing on with the program, though. You got to cut to see the benefits. You're saying you got to cut people, you got to fire people, you got to get rid of stuff to see the benefits. Yeah, but you got to do it with precision, not with a chainsaw. Not with a chainsaw. Going back to the box, I don't know what I just hit there, but we'll continue on with the program. Thank you, folks that are tapping the screen. Get your down up to about 40,000 if we can. As that says, Joan. Good evening, Joan. Welcome to the program. I'd be curious now, Joan. Now, obviously, you're a female. Are you happy with Trump?
No. He's trying to annex my country.
Hey, what?
We're not happy.
Are you Canadian?
Yes.
Oh, you don't want to be the 50.
We're not happy.
You don't want to be the 51st state. I hear you guys will get great tax cuts. You get a strong military. You might lose a little health care, but you could carry a gun.
But what about our kids in schools?
Hey, you might lose a few every now and then. I mean,
we like our kids.
Well, you can send your kids to school. They'd all come back, plus or minus a few of them. But I mean, they come home.
We like our kids.
Yeah.
We like our health care.
It's interesting you would say you like your health care, because I always hear when liberals bring up your health care, that you guys have universal health care, that you guys have long waits and death panels. What say you?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I waited 1 day to get into my doctor, and when I broke my foot, I waited 20 minutes to get to see the doctor in the emergency room.
Wow.
That was a really long wait.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like what we've been told. So, I mean, because we always hear look, Canadians come to America to have surgeries and things like that because their healthcare system is so bad.
That's not true.
Yeah. I didn't think it was. So what do you guys think of Trump in Canada?
Okay, I will tell you. At first we thought it was kind of funny. Right now we're terrified. And I'm talking terrified. We are scared. We believe him when he says he is going to annex our country.
Yeah.
I have been talking to a lot of Canadians, and we're literally like, we have a lot of Americans who support us, and we know that. And so we understand that it's kind of like Trump and Trump supporters, but you would not believe the bashing we get. Like, we're gonna come and take you. We don't care that you don't want us. We've got a bigger military than you. You have no say in this.
Wow.
We own you.
Where are you getting this online?
Yeah.
Man, I believe, going online can be a very nasty place, so it makes sense. I'm assuming those aren't bleeding heart liberals telling you that.
Oh, of course not.
But now you guys, how does your country itself view Trudeau, Justin Trudeau? Now he's resigning, right?
Yes.
When is he gone? In April?
I believe he's gone whenever we elect a new leader, and it is going to be within the next couple of months. It's probably going to be Carney.
What's his politics? Is he Labor or liberal?
He's a liberal.
Okay.
Yeah. We like him.
Now, wait. Now, is your Liberal Party, does it lean left or right? Because when I lived in Australia, you had the Labor and Liberal, and the Liberals in Australia were a right-wing party, and Labor was left.
No. Liberal is left.
Okay, Liberals left in Canada. Okay. What is your right wing called?
Conservative.
Oh, it is called conservative. Okay, so similar to ours then. Okay,
Yeah.
they didn't have that in Australia. It was Liberal and Labor Party. So, okay, so you do believe that Justin Trudeau will be replaced with another Liberal?
Yes.
Is he more or less liberal than Justin Trudeau?
He's about the same.
Oh.
Mark Carney is actually, he was the governor of the Federal Reserve, I believe, for a long while. He's a Harvard graduate. He's worked in the States. He worked for Goldman Sachs. He actually worked in England when they were going through Brexit, and was advising them not to do it. They kind of did do it. He left. He's been doing different things, and now he's running for our prime minister.
All right, fair enough. Well, now how's your politics? Here we have them every 4 years. How does your politics work? Are you guys able to call an election like that?
Yeah, we're every 4 years.
Okay.
The same as you guys. The only thing is we're not limited. We can go more than like 2 terms.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So but you guys are somewhat paranoid that Trump may actually try to take over your country.
Yeah, can you reassure me on that a little bit? Like, what do the American people think?
The American people think that you might want to consider maybe relocating because he might do it. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Listen, at the end of the day, it ain't something I feel like confident he's going to do. But if I had to give a percent, I would not say it's a 0% chance it'll happen. I would say it's probably at least 20 to 25% that he would try to do something like that. Because normally when he says he's going to do something, he at least makes an attempt at doing it.
Yeah, he's not the stable genius that he thinks he is.
So then let me ask you this. Do you have Canadians in your country that may be in lower forms of government, not necessarily a prime minister, but maybe down the line, that would like for America to annex your country?
Yeah, I think it's about 20%.
That ain't good. And the reason why I'm saying that, because we tend to have a skill of interfering with politics in other countries, and we can elevate that 20% to being in power. I mean, we've done that with a host of countries.
Yeah, but the fear my fear is that he's saying, like Trump is saying a lot of things that aren't true. Like that, they're subsidizing us and we owe them, and that America protects us, and so.
Wait, is he saying is he saying the Canadians owe America money?
Yeah.
Oh, you're fucked. I mean, that's what he normally does. I mean, yeah, that's what he normally does. He's starting to say all these countries from Panama, He hasn't said Greenland owes us anything. Obviously, the Ukraine owes us money. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, and I hope I'm wrong when I say this. I'm speculating. I'm going to admit that. I'm not in the know on this, but I'm speculating. That could be a precursor to doing things. In other words, you owe me this much money, and if you say no, I don't, then you're actually giving me a reason to come in and have to do something because you're ripping me off. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing, and it's not true. It's not true.
Wow.
But he's saying it. He's saying that you're subsidizing us, and it's actually a trade deficit, which means we don't buy as much from you as you buy from us. Because you're 400 million people, we're 40 million people, and because we don't buy as much from us from you as you do from us, we owe you. But people are believing that, and so they're saying, "Well, you owe us all this money." But he's demonizing us because we're the next target. We're the next target, along with like the illegals, the immigrants, the trans people. Were the next target on the line.
Now, have you guys made a path for because I know, for instance, I'm gonna tell you from being an African American, I know during slavery, you guys would let free slaves live in your country if they could get there without getting shot. Are you guys letting Americans in now?
Right now, I believe we are letting the trans and LGBTQ in. I believe there is an asylum thing going on, and I think.
Hold on, let me see if I can find my wig. Hold on, you letting us in? You letting us in?
Yeah.
So if someone is LGBTQ or trans that's in America, you will allow them to basically seek asylum, I guess, to some degree, almost like you'll let them in the country.
Okay, I cannot say this 100%. I have heard that. But I haven't looked it up legislatively. I cannot say. I believe that we can, and I do need to go and look it up.
All right.
I hope so.
Please do that, because you're starting to turn me gay, Joan. I just want to make sure I know. You're starting to make me feel a little bit feminine. I want to make sure, get clarity on that for me. Get some clarity on that.
I hope that we do, and I would sponsor any person.
Wow.
That was being criminalized in that way to come into Canada.
Yeah,
I would be the first person to say, yes, I would give them a home, I would give them food, I would give them whatever they needed.
Wow. You fit the bill. Everybody always talks about it in this country when people are pro immigrant or letting the migrants stay. They go, well, if you like them so much, why don't you take them in your house, or why don't you give them something to eat? You actually sound like one of those kind of people.
Yeah, I would.
Now, do you guys have a big immigration problem like America has?
No, but some people here think we do.
Yeah.
I don't think we do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some people don't want anybody to come, so you're likely. Now, in your country, obviously the left is in control, but by what margin? Like, for instance, Justin Trudeau or the guy you're talking about that's going to follow him, are they well-favored, well-liked politicians, or did they win just by a little bit?
Oh, no, they're well, Justin Trudeau was well-liked in the beginning, and then, I don't know, a bunch of conservatives went after him, and that's kind of why he decided to resign. But, since Trump went after him, he's risen up so much, his popularity has skyrocketed.
Because he's getting bashed. I mean, because Trump is making him a victim, basically.
And he's standing up. And so people are going, I may not have liked you, but boy, are you doing a good job now.
Fair enough.
He's unified. The best thing that Trump has done for Canada is he has unified Canada. Okay, the Quebecers, like the people from Quebec, like Montreal, Quebec City, whatever, they wanted to separate from Canada. They hated us. They love us now. They are pro-Canadian. Like, wow. He has united Canada more than Canada has been united in my lifetime, and I'm 66 years old. I have never seen how united Canada is.
That makes sense. Anytime a nation feels threatened, the people kind of hash out their differences because they need to come together for the sake of the nation, and that's what it sounds like. Is what you're talking about is that nation feels a genuine threat from the United States. So until we deal with America, we need to hash out any issues we have among each other because if he comes in, he's going to take us all over. So let's work together and work on them, and then we can get back to disagreeing with each other later on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, we don't, Canada as a nation does not hate America. We just don't like Trump and the MAGA policies.
Wow.
Because they threaten us.
What MAGA policies, other than him talking about annexing your whole damn country, what else is he doing that you feel threatened by?
Well, the tariffs, obviously.
Yeah.
And you know, his whole ideology about, like, DEI. Like, come on, what's wrong with DEI? Like, DEI is making planes crash. Yeah, no. That's not happening.
So I take it you get a lot. You're actually pretty well in the know in regards to what's going on in America. Are you down in the southern? Most of you guys live in the southern part of your country. Are you down Toronto or Vancouver somewhere?
No, I'm Western. I'm Alberta, actually.
You're where?
I'm closer to Calgary, Banff area.
Okay. I don't know a lot about it, but
north of Montana.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's kind of rural up there, ain't it?
Well, Calgary is a couple or a million at least, maybe two. I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
It's a bigger city, but
I like Canada. I've been to Toronto. I went in through Windsor and drove all the way over to Toronto. I enjoyed being there. I mean, because it feels very American-like anyway. But other than the unit of measurement, but this whole thing here that's going on. Hopefully, it doesn't turn out as bad as you guys think, or as bad as some of us even feel about it. And we get past this era in history and go back to where we were. But I can't give you anything that's reassuring. Joan, I got to move it on. Come on back through anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Appreciate it. Stay safe up there. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Get your guy on up to, I guess we can make, I asked about 40,000. You guys are really lazy in the thumb. Give me about a minute of tapping the screen. Tap the screen. 50,000, I'm asking for that now. We can make that happen. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. You know the program is always MAGA friendly. I don't get as many MAGA on TikTok, but you are invited. We don't run from an opposing point of view or one that is the same. We believe in bringing everyone up. So it's all about free speech here. If you do not have TikTok, we are also currently live on Instagram as well. You can come right up there and we'll take you there as well. They're all under the same name, The Handsome Liberal. We're on YouTube horizontal, YouTube vertical as well, all together. I do have a Clapper account. I'm waiting for a tripod to come in. We'll start being live on Clapper probably tomorrow. If not one day this week. So if you have Clapper, once again, a Handsome Liberal on Clapper, we'll be live there as well. So looking in the comments, I don't know what I just did there, but looking in the comments, I see Will G says, farmers were cut badly because of the cutting of USA. Farmers send produce through USA to help in a world crisis. The problem is not enough of them are speaking up. And farmers, the farmers in rural areas are overwhelmingly leaning right. Farmers definitely, the cities lean left, the rural areas lean right. So you're going to get if farmers are being hurt to any significant number, that's MAGA. That is Trump supporters being hurt. But the problem is, like a couple callers back stated, if people don't speak up, somebody said that they are so gung-ho on winning and not admitting that they fucked around and found out that they won't even tell you that they're hurting. So unless more of them start speaking up, it kind of is what it is. Quick Soap says, all Canada has to do, and appreciate the subscription. Nicole, thank you for the sub. Shout out to you. All Canada has to do is go electoral votes and Republican president never again. I can't speak on it because I don't know Canadian politics like that. You're saying that all Canada has to do is go electoral votes. Oh, you mean start adopting the electoral college like we do. I don't believe that, and I'll tell you why. If you change the way the system is done, the people will change to affect change within that system. I mean, it's just the way I see it. If you all of a sudden switch from the popular vote to the electoral college, then you'll start getting politicians in there to start altering how the electoral college is made up. I mean, you can't have one party running shit forever. That's going to really lead to an unhappy population. But many are suggesting we may be headed down the path of a dictatorship. So we'll see what happens on that. Real quick in the comments, leave it to Trump to be hated around the world. Damn. Listen, nobody, I got to put on my spectacles. Roto Rudy, you're saying that leave it to Trump to be hated around the world. Well, Trump is telling us, Maga suggests that now that we've gotten Trump in there, as opposed to Biden or Kamala Harris, that the U.S. is more respected around the world. So somebody has a difference of opinion there. You say leave it to Trump to be hated around the world. I do believe that Trump is becoming more friendly to our adversaries and less friendly to our allies. I can definitely see that because his stance on the Ukraine goes against, I think, every ally we have. I don't know any ally that believes Zelensky and the Ukrainians started the war. And that was one of the topics today, in addition to what you're seeing Steve Bannon on the screen doing. I'm asking that, why is Trump suggesting that the Ukrainians started the war? What is that based on? Is that unfounded, or is that based on some kind of actual reality? I want to hear from you folks. Good Kid, good evening. Welcome to the program. Good Kid. If the box brings him up, don't think it's going to happen. I don't see where it didn't even pop up there. We'll move it on. I don't know why it didn't happen, but we'll continue on with the program. Did it? No. All right, we'll go anger at being American. Wait. Okay, you're saying anger at being American in response to, I'm curious of what's making you say that. You said all Canada has to, okay, so I don't, what do you mean by anger at being American? Are you angry that you're an American? You got to explain that. I don't understand that one. Stick, the ruler. Good evening. Welcome to the program. I'm having issues with the box, I think. Let me make sure I'm on Wi-Fi. Don't know what the hell's happening with my box. I'm trying to bring folks up, and something is going on. We'll give it a moment to reset. We can always go to Instagram. I see Sherbert, you're waiting there. We'll do that. We'll go over to Instagram, bring up a guest, and see what's going on while TikTok resets. Hey, bro, do you got it on your car? What do you mean by that, Mike? I don't understand that. You need to put President Musk on the wall. You know, I've been trying to get that. President Elon Musk. It's hard to find a good photo of him. Sherbert, good evening. Hey, you on the road there? I'm doing good. So what is that on my screen back there? What the hell is that?
Oh, it's some racist bullshit. And everyone's kind of known that about Steve Bannon, haven't we? And he's just not hiding anymore now that Elon got away with it.
I've heard rumors, but folks are suggesting that, but you heard with Elon, they said he had Asperger's or he had some kind of mental illness. I don't.
Steve Bannon might be retarded, so it works out well.
You said Steve Bannon might be retarded. Why? But let me ask you this: why is it that the liberals see Steve Bannon and Elon Musk doing this stuff, and the right sees it, and they have a totally different opinion of it?
That's $1 million question, Sam. And if we could answer that, we might be able to get some of our uncles and aunts and grandparents out of the cult, but nobody has that answer yet. It's so very clear, especially I saw Steve Bannon do that two days ago, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I saw a clip of he fucking smiled at the audience like before and after he's doing it, like, look at what I'm gonna do. It wasn't even close to Elon, so like, well, maybe. Steve Bannon was full on, I'm gonna do the salute. And apparently everyone's okay with it.
Yeah, because
Nazis are okay, according to them.
Yeah,
Did you know Nick Fuentes?
Yes.
Put up
Wait. You said Nick Fuentes. That's the one that Kanye West brought to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
You said he put up an ad doing what?
Good, positive propaganda for Schmittler
What?
on X, and it's still up, you know. But so this whole free speech, we're not going to do anything wrong on X. Yeah, they're willing to put it up there. Of course, Steve Bannon's going to think he's okay doing that.
Wow.
There's no one pushing back anymore. This isn't, you know, the 90s anymore where these socialist, communist, fascists wouldn't actually matter when they said that. And Trump throws it around like candy, so now it means nothing.
Yeah, you know what? That is, you raise a good point, because I got to say this. If this is harmless, as my MAGA viewers often suggest, I do have to, why are there not any folks on the right? I mean, he did this at CPAC.
There's a couple on the right, and then they get fired from their jobs because nobody else is Steve Bannon or Elon Musk. It's the two-tier justice system, but for these political dipshits.
So in other words, if you speak out, you're gone.
I mean, always. I think there was like 2 weeks ago, this guy from Indiana or something went out to Florida and did that to a bunch of people.
And they got, I heard about that. I did hear about that. They got rid of
He
him.
thought he'd be cool with it. Everyone would be fine. And then his girlfriend got fired. He got fired. Like, the internet's forever.
Yeah.
And people keep, telling me that the January 6th documents got erased. The internet's forever. We saw them broadcasted. What are you talking about? Do your damn research. The people that couldn't shut up about doing my own research on the COVID vaccine won't actually look into anything. What's happening to them?
Some of this I have no answer for. I mean, I do agree that I think we've gotten to a point where people believe what they want to believe, and there's nothing you're going to be able to tell them to make them think otherwise. Certainly when it comes to politics.
They want to be in their tribe.
Yeah.
That's what keeps them safe.
But I will.
Everyone wants to be safe, but not when you're killing, nanas from taking away Meals on Wheels.
But that ain't happened yet, though, has it?
I'm not sure. But with all the systems they're cutting, if you got rid of the 400 people that look over our nuclear arms, do you think Nana's not going to die when they cut out Medicare?
Ooh.
I mean, it's just the logical conclusion. It's common sense, Tim. If you just use common sense, like all these other fucking cutheads. Sorry, I need to not cuss so much to get banned on here. But
Yeah, because TikTok didn't like what you did. I'm in the appeals process with TikTok now. TikTok didn't like what you just said. Yeah, TikTok didn't like you. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It usually comes back. I think, sometimes we get folks in the comments that report and don't like what we're saying, whether it's left or right. I got liberals that do it. I got righties that do it. So
I think the ads on X would be the thing that would piss off the TikTok, because it may be true, but it is still a very bad thing that people aren't supposed to talk about, which then proves the point that we shouldn't have this just be okay on X.
yeah.
I mean, the same thing when they were talking about the, what were they saying on January 6th, the anti-protesters, the anti-fascists?
They were saying it was Antifa. Some said it was. Some even tried to say it was Black Lives Matter, which is ridiculous. But they were. Yeah.
If you're going to say that the anti-fascists are against you, then you're probably fascist. If you're saying that all the racist people are saying, hey, that's a racist thing, I like you, it might be a racist thing. Like, they keep doing this projection, and then it turns out they're just talking about themselves basically every time.
Did you see the video of the leader of the Proud Boys confronting the Capitol Police officer that they beat up, cussing him out and threatening them?
I have not. When did this happen?
It either happened yesterday or within the last 48 hours, but the head of the Proud Boys, because I know the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, one of the guys got 18 years in prison, the other one got like 22 years. And they let it. Yeah, Enrique, something like Enrique or something like that is his name.
But Enrique Tarrio wasn't at January 6th. By what I'm to understand, that was the only point that all of these Jan 6 defenders had, was that Enrique Tarrio wasn't even there, even though he was the head of the group that was there.
Yeah, that's like saying that. Yeah, saying he is not there is like saying that Charles Manson didn't kill anybody. He still spent the rest of his life in prison. I mean, he didn't kill anybody. So.
Well, we don't know that,
Well,
how many hippies just didn't show up again?
yeah, something like that. But anyway, he went in, confronted the guy named Michael Fanone or whatever the guy's name.
It was Michael. No, I was going to ask if it was the guy that's been on the news the whole time.
Yeah,
that guy looks like I wouldn't want to mess with him.
Well,
so I guess Enrique Otero might be brave if he's willing to get stabbed in the neck by that guy.
Yeah, he went and confronted him and was threatening him and everything. And it's crazy. You just got pardoned for, attacking the Capitol Police in the Capitol building, and your response is to go back to the victim and threaten him again? Wow.
Yeah, because they're bullies. And then the same way Trump doesn't like it when people stand up to him. Enrique Tarrio sure as hell isn't going to like that when he's a supremacist.
Wait. You saying that the leader of the Proud Boys is a supremacist?
Yeah, he may be a different race, but he's still a supremacist. That's what the Proud Boys are.
Well, I've talked to a few. They adamantly deny it, but then again, that's kind of how it goes. But they adamantly.
Come on, Tim.
Huh?
Come on, Tim. We can listen to what these people are saying. Don't listen to your lying ears.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I'm just telling you, you don't normally get people that come out and admit, my name is John and I'm a racist. I mean, most of them, you're right, they do deny that they're involved in it. So.
Well, the same way Trump said they didn't know anything about Project 2025 and then has implemented almost everything from that. Yeah, just, deny my lying eyes and my lying ears.
Well, and of course, he's still denying that. They're still denying that.
Trump's the most lyingest president ever. And if you can't believe that he's not chosen by God, you're never going to believe that he's not actually, not telling the truth.
Wait, chosen by God?
That's what a lot of MAGA supporters say. I mean, I know it's not all of them, but the most vocal ones say he was literally chosen by God to save America. Even though Jesus didn't come from America, he came from Palestine, so Jesus was a Palestinian.
Yeah, and I've been to a couple of Trump rallies, and I had a guy tell me that to my face at a Trump rally. So you are right. He told me that. Yeah, he told me personally Trump was chosen by God, and I was not even. We weren't debating. We were having a friendly chat. We were in line waiting to get into the rally. It took about 5 hours of a wait, and we're just talking. And yeah, he told me that too. So a lot of people do believe that. You all right over there?
Kind of. A lot of construction going on. I probably should go, Tim.
All right, I appreciate it. I saw the flashing lights. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Moving on with the program. For you folks that are wondering, TikTok went down. I'm trying to let the appeal go through. We'll see. Otherwise, we'll end up on the backup page on our next broadcast. So, hang on a second. I'm just checking to see if the appeals went through, but I haven't seen any positive effect on it yet. So, but as you see, the Instagram is open. But that's what happened is TikTok went down. Looking in the comments, the black community since the 1970s until he has ran as a Republican in 2016 was all on Trump's nuts. How many rap songs is Trump before 2016? It is like 250. 350. Is Trump? No, I don't know. I know Nelly's song. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me hear you now. I do know Trump is in rap songs. You're 100% correct in saying that the black community viewed Trump favorably until he ran for office. I don't disagree with that, but I think you're missing the point. The point is that everybody gets viewed favorably until they run for office. I mean, I don't recall nobody saying that Senator Obama was born in Kenya. I don't remember anybody saying that First Lady Hillary Clinton was drinking the blood of infants. I mean, this is what happens. When you run for office, you get demonized. I mean, so all of a sudden Trump ran for office and suddenly, boom, he's a racist. Now, I will also say, too, that the things Trump is doing now, the way he's living his life, the way he's talking politically, I don't think he would be on a bunch of rap songs if he was doing that back in the 70s and 80s. I don't think the black community would have viewed him the same. I mean, the way he views, let's say, DEI, I've played the videos of him tweeting out that black people are responsible for nearly all white homicides. He wasn't saying and doing that kind of stuff. when he was in the 70s and 80s. He's a different guy now. So it makes sense to point out, well, look, the black community and Jesse Jackson and all of them hung around him back then. Why do they hate him now? He's a different dude. He's a different guy. Back in the 70s and 80s, Trump was stating that the economy is always better under Democrats. In fact, he came out and said, I identify as a Democrat on one of his older videos. He talked about an assault weapons ban on one of his older videos. He's a different dude. So if you're wondering why people have changed their stance on him, it's because he's changed his stance publicly. He's talking different stuff. And that comes with consequences. Some of the far right stuff he's doing, he would not have had a huge black following if he was doing that stuff back then. He wasn't doing it. So he's changed his stance, and that's kind of what has happened, if you ask me. Real quick, looking in the comments, Trump is mentioned in rap songs as a representation of a lot of money. That is true. That is true. That was why people liked him, is he was, he's rich, and, hip hop was all about flossing and bragging about how much money you got. So, absolutely makes sense why he was mentioned in a bunch of rap songs. But like I said, his politics back then were totally different. I'm pretty sure they would. I mean, look at what has happened with Kanye West since he started. In fact, now Kanye West went off the deep end. But I'll tell you this: anybody that is African American, maybe even Hispanic now, but I'm going to say African American for certain because I know this more. If you're African American, a celebrity, musician, athlete, and your primary fan base are also African Americans, you cannot be publicly endorsing Trump. You can't do it. Now, if you're Candace Owens, the Hodge twins, Officer Tatum, Larry Elder, Tim Scott, where your supporters are not necessarily African Americans, yeah, you can endorse Trump, you can roll with Trump, whatever. But if you're African American and your fan base, your bread and butter is coming from the African American community, you're not going to be able to ride with Trump and continue that. You're going to start immediately seeing adverse effects by riding with Trump. And by the way, the same applies on the other side. Look what happened to Taylor Swift once she came out, started talking liberal. I can even go back further than that, before Trump was even a politician. Look at what happened to the Dixie Chicks when they didn't like what was happening in the useless Iraq war. I mean, so both sides will cancel you. That's not something that just the liberal snowflakes do. The right will cancel you too. I mean, I'm just telling you, the right will, look what they did to Bud Light because of the transgender spokesperson. So the right will cancel you as well. It's not just a left-wing thing, but yeah, if you're African American and you have an African American fan base, you can't be endorsing Trump. He pardoned Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne has not been hanging with Trump anymore. He hung around Trump just enough to get the pardon, and he went his separate ways. Steve Harvey, Ice Cube, they tried to talk with Trump. They started seeing the heat. They got the hell away from him. The only African American I know that has been favorable of Trump, that has a large African American base and has been able to continue doing it and remain and maintain his base, is Mike Tyson, the boxer Mike Tyson. That's about it. Everybody else, if you are African American, you have an African American fan base, hanging around Trump is like, basically like the plague. It's toxic. It's toxic to your fan base. View it as you may. Looking in the comments, Trump gets his SCOTUS. Trump gets his Supreme Court to get rid of affirmative action, gets rid of diversity in federal government, fires the highest ranking black man in the military, but no, he's not racist. I can't counter that at all because he's not hiring anybody black. I mean, it is interesting to see the guy who's saying he's did more for black people than anybody since Abraham Lincoln. We're outside of his cabinet at this point. I mean, just everybody they're getting rid of and replacing with are generally white males. I mean, you can't find any person of color that has any merit at all. I don't know. Jon Stewart made the statement that he believed what Trump is doing when he talked about the DEI, being responsible for the plane crash. He believes that what Trump is doing is trying to make the default position for competence in America a white guy. Now, I'm going to tell you, as a child growing up in the 70s and 80s, that's the way it used to be. If you got on an airplane to go flying somewhere and there was a black person or a woman in a cockpit, you kind of question, are we going to be safe? You know, you go to the doctor and it's not it's not a white guy. The default for competence was a white guy. If you've seen anybody in a highly educated position of power, you expected that person to be white. That was the default position for competence in America. So, according to Jon Stewart, the comedian, he thinks Trump is trying to take us back to that point where the default position for competence is a white guy. It's hard to say. Trump is 80 years old, damn near. So most of this stuff we're talking about will obviously have to carry on after him. Even if he does try to be a dictator or whatever. I mean, he only has a small amount of time left on Earth. You got to assume just by, physics and biology. I'm going to start up Clapper. I don't know what the hell's going on with TikTok, but we're on Clapper Live. I don't know if anybody uses that. This is because I was going to start doing this tomorrow, but I don't want to fire up the backup account on TikTok. So we'll just leave Clapper up there for now. Once again, a handsome liberal. You can look back in history, Tim, and always find something to complain about. That is true, Paul. That is true. The 2A people complain about tyranny. I don't want to lose my gun because they'll go back to being tyrannical. People look at, letting in Muslim immigrants because they talk about acts of terrorism. Yeah, you're right about that. You can always go back in history and find something to complain about. And most often people do. However, the pushback is a lot of folks try to suggest that things are part of history that may still be currently happening. A lot of folks believe that, for instance, America's dark sin of racism ended with slavery. You ain't got nothing to do with a slave. That was years ago. Why don't you guys get over it? Just skipping over 100 years of Jim Crow. I mean, just literally skipping over all of that. So I agree with you. People are always going to be willing to go back to go back in history, but some of this stuff is not history, and people just want to make it that way. Looking in the comments, Rod is the greatest. Appreciate you coming over to Clapper. Appreciate you for you folks that come over to Clapper. You can come up live if you figure it out, and I will have to figure it out with you because this is my first time going live on this. MAGA is getting you stripes on MAGA site, says Chris. I don't know. I'm not for sure it was MAGA. Liberals are about canceling too. It ain't always MAGA. I don't know. I've had people get pissed off on both sides of the aisle. I mean, it is what it is. You start getting critical of Trump, MAGA doesn't like it. You start talking favorable of Trump, the liberals don't like it. I got several people who tell me I'm fluffing for Trump all the time. Fluffing, holding his dick up. I get a lot of folks that say that. So when I see something that is done that I think is a good thing from any politician, I believe in giving credit where credit is due. But in our tribalistic society, people want you to either be on one side or the other. Don't give the enemy any credit. I'm not like that. I believe in giving credit if I believe it's due. Good example would be Chris Christie walking along the beach after Hurricane Sandy with Barack Obama. Obama was appointing adequate FEMA funding to the residents of New Jersey, and Chris Christie shook his hand and gave him a hug for helping them out during their time their time of desperation. The right chastised the hell out of Chris Christie for showing appreciation to Obama on TV. You were literally hugging, if not sleeping with the enemy. So I don't believe in doing that. That's a good example of you wouldn't give him credit even if he cured cancer. That was the right doing that. You got a governor that is in desperation after his citizens have encountered a hurricane, and you're pissed off that he's showing appreciation for Obama actually coming through in their time of need. The right went apeshit on Chris Christie for that. I don't do that. Looking in the comments, same way we're all just freed America. I don't know what you're saying there, Tea Party. What's the done? You guys are typing some weird things in the comments. Most people don't like bringing up racism all the time either. No, listen. The problem is there's groups that bring up racism in everything, and there are groups that bring up racism in nothing. There are groups that can see racism in any damn thing that happens. I don't care if the sky is white. Why is it never black? You got folks that don't see racism in anything. And then you got folks that will look at police brutality and things like that. They don't see racism in anything. They'll ignore it even if it's right in front of their faces. Like, for instance, the sheer fact that the overwhelming majority of controversial police actions are taken against people of color. And I get folks on the show, well, you know, white people just don't want to make a fuss about it. It happens to them too. They just don't want to make a fuss about it. They just decided not to film it. That's insane. That's insane. So you got folks that don't see racism in any damn thing. They'll deny it up and down, even if it's right in their face. So you get both sides. Would you go to the White House as a news person and just ask her? I would love to do that. I would love to do that. In this current administration, you know, you had Steve Ducey's son from Fox, Peter Ducey, or one of their names. One's Steve, one's Peter. I don't know which one was the dad and the father, but you had the son asking the Biden administration really tough questions. What is her name? Saint Janine Pierre or whatever. Bunch of gotcha questions, making a good career for himself. Ducey of Fox News by asking all those gotcha questions. I would love to do that. However, you're not going to get away with that on Trump. If you get a couple good questions in on Trump, they're just going to ban you from doing it. They're not going to keep taking those tough questions like that. Trump likes to be able to dominate you. You got to be willing to let him call you stupid on national TV and all of that shit. It's not going to be professional by any means. But I got thick skin. I can take it. I would love that job. But like I said, I tend to ask some tough, some pressing questions. And Trump is not going to tolerate that. He's just not going to tolerate. I cannot think of the young lady who is his spokesperson, the blonde lady. He's not going to tolerate me asking her questions that might be all over MSNBC the next day or all over CNN. It's just not going to happen. You get one or two of those in, you're no longer invited to the press event. It would be over with. Looking in the comments, though, we live in a democracy, goofy. I thought it was a republic. Every time I say we live in a democracy, my beloved Maga corrects me and says, no, it's a republic. But now I got somebody in the comments saying we live in a democracy, goofy. All right, fair enough. Tim did this to Michael Cohen on this show earlier last year. Yeah, alter ego, that is true. I got a chance to interview President Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen. And I asked him real tough questions, challenged his credibility and all that. He was about to testify before Congress the next morning. I interviewed him for about a half hour the night before he was testifying before Congress. And yeah, it wasn't a friendly interview. I asked him questions that people would want to know. And yeah, some of the comments were like, damn, he was tough on you. Yeah, I asked him questions people would want to know. It wasn't a softball interview. I would do the same if I was at the White House. And that doesn't matter if it's Trump, Biden, Kamala, Obama, whatever. If you're talking shit, and I know the people think you're talking shit, I'm going to ask you some tough questions. The only difference is I don't think Trump would allow it. I really think Trump is got his thumb on his personnel. Press conference, he's sitting in Air Force One or in Mar-a-Lago or wherever the hell he's at. He's watching that. Or he's eventually going to watch it. And if it doesn't go right, I don't want to see him out there again. That would be the end of it. I really believe that. Looking in the comments, Kevin, it don't matter what you say, what the Constitution says in our founding fathers, and this is a constitutional republic, no matter what you want it to be. Yeah, I get that all the time. When I say it's a democracy, people say, it's a republic, fool. Now he tells me, no, it's a democracy. Get it straight. Don't we say that with the Pledge of Allegiance? Until the republic for which it stands, we actually do say that, don't we? So yeah, it's a republic. Will G says the Eagles will skip the White House visit. Good on them. Are they really skipping that? I thought the Philadelphia Eagles were going to go visit the White House. Wow. Then you can expect Trump to start ridiculing the Eagles. For all we know, like I said, there's cancel culture on both sides. Don't ever let somebody tell you that the liberal snowflakes are the only ones that cancel shit. If the Eagles skip going to the White House as a protest to Trump, expect to hear Maga suggesting that they're not going to go to Eagles games anymore and or some voiding the NFL altogether. MAGA does that just as well. So don't ever let nobody tell you that only the liberals do that shit. MAGA does it too. And if the Eagles protest Trump, they're going to start protesting as a response. You know, I'm not watching the games. I got rid of my Sunday NFL package. I don't want, you know, I'm not going to go. I mean, they'll do it back. Good. Nobody want them there anyway, says Q Fitty. Well, if he invites them to the White House and they don't go, clearly he wanted them there. Hence the invite. So you don't get to try to score a win for Trump by saying, well, good, nobody wanted him there. If they didn't want him there, they wouldn't have invited him. And by the way, that stuff goes down in history. I mean, how many championship NFL teams avoided going to the White House? That doesn't happen very often. So that'll go down on Trump's resume in history that people, you know, even the Super Bowl champions didn't want nothing to do with him at least one year. I think it happened with the NBA too, but well, you know, the NFL is probably damn near almost as black as the NBA. Not quite, but listen, we know at this point in time, blacks do not like Trump. So it doesn't surprise you that the NBA wouldn't go. But the NFL is not as black, but we'll see. But you said the championship, Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles are not going. I hadn't heard that. Quick Note says, one shot would you ask? What question would I ask that we want to know? It really depends on what's going on in the country at that time. I mean, some of the questions I would ask right now would be such as, do you have anything in store for all of the thousands of Americans you're laying off? Okay, yeah, their jobs you believe are surplus or redundant, but you are putting Americans out of work. Do you have anything on the horizon to do anything for any of these people? Maybe I would bring up that on the way here, I stopped off and had to buy a dozen of eggs, and wow, this kind of reminds me of the Biden administration. You got any plans? You haven't really been talking about that. You know, I would throw something like that out there. Like I said, it would be questions that are challenging. It's not going to be kiss-ass questions, and I don't believe that Trump would tolerate it. Eventually, listen, some of the questions I ask, eventually one of them's going to be a gotcha question. I'm just like that sometimes, and I think that in Trump's case, if you get one in that hits, because they're prepared for every damn thing, but eventually you may get one in that actually hits his target, like Ducey did. He's not going to let you keep doing that. The Biden administration, I don't know how many questions Ducey got in, but he got enough of them in that his career is probably established from that. Even if he left Fox, and they let him keep coming and interviewing her over and over again. That ain't happening with Trump. I'm pretty sure Trump would not allow that. Concepts of a plan, Tim. Yeah, he did say he had concepts of a plan. Well, it is what it is. You know, a good question would be, okay, listen, he's only been in office for 5 weeks. How long should the American people, because he mentioned that there is going to be some pain in the beginning and the American people were going to be able to handle it or whatever. Any specifics on how long that pain is going to go? Like, how long is the economy going to stay this way before we start seeing some daylight? Give us an answer that we can actually work with, as opposed to something that's general. And then we'll let him go ahead and get his quote in. And then, of course, whatever agency I work for, I expect them at that period of time that she answered, if things haven't changed, I expect my news agency to start bringing that up. Bring up the old footage of me asking them and getting an actual reference in time. If that has not come true, then you're supposed to use that on your network. That's what Fox would do. That's what any other network would do. So like I said, I'd have fun with it. I would love it, but I don't think I would go very far in it. who is on behind you, that is Steve Bannon, looking very similar to Elon Musk, pictured here behind me. That is Elon Musk a few weeks ago, doing what many might suggest is the Hail Adolf salute. Now, Elon Musk, well, not Elon Musk himself, but supporters of Elon Musk denied that that was what it looks like. I'll let you go figure with that. Some tried to even attribute it to him having autism or Asperger's syndrome or something like that. I haven't looked through any medical journals, but I don't know if throwing up salutes is part of a symptom of having Asperger's, but some people are saying it was. I haven't seen that. So you have to go to your local mental health facility and see if everybody in there looks like the Third Reich. So that is Elon Musk. Of course, that is Steve Bannon performing a similar pose. Difference with Elon Musk, or better yet, Steve Bannon is, he's did it more than once. Different with Steve Bannon is he's actually done it more than once. So I don't know if he has twice as much Asperger or autism as Elon Musk does. But neither one of them are making any apologies for it or trying to explain it away. And of course, CPAC, which you see Steve Bannon pictured there at, didn't have a problem with it at all. In fact, they applauded when he did it. So we'll leave it at that. It looks like that the right doesn't have any issue with that. He had 10 years to make up a concept. Well, he's still working on it apparently. So we'll see what happens. Well, Steve Bannon is known to be anti-Semitic. I don't know how Elon is not getting in that same category. In fact, I got more shit on Elon, in my opinion, than I got on Bannon. I haven't followed Bannon, the war room and all of that. I know he's far right. I've heard stories, similar to Alex Jones and things like that. But he wasn't in a White House. Well, he was in the White House under Trump's first administration. He was in the White House, but he didn't come across as having the same amount of power as Elon, because Trump fired him pretty quick. He wasn't part of the administration for very long. But with Elon Musk, in my opinion, there's more actually on him than Steve Bannon. First of all, we can talk about the salute, whatever the hell you want to view that as, whether that's harmless or not. But this ain't the only thing that's on Elon Musk since he's been the head of Doge. I don't even know what the hell he's done before. I'm talking about, I got plenty on Elon just since he has been the head of Doge. So only 4 weeks, 5 weeks as of tomorrow. He actually fought to rehire a staffer that was openly racist. The guy actually stated, I was racist before it was, I was racist when it wasn't cool. Now, the guy he fought to rehire is only 25 years of age. And the racist comments he made are only a few months old. So it's not like you got a 40-year-old that's being held accountable for some shit he said when he was 9. No, this guy just said this stuff a few months ago, that he was racist before, he was racist before it was cool or something like that. In addition to, and the guy also said to normalize Indian hate, he's favorable to eugenics. I mean, this is a really racist person, whoever this individual is. But the guy resigned when all of his business got out in the street. And Elon said, no, bring him back. J.D. Vance joined in on that. And Trump said, if they want him, I'll take him back too. So that's another thing in addition to this salute that Elon has on his resume. Also, he's inviting the participants of apartheid in South Africa, the direct descendants of it. Saying hundreds, this is not hundreds of years ago. You've probably heard of the 70s song, I Ain't Gonna Play Sunshine City. That was a 70s song. That was in regards to this old apartheid shit. And he's inviting them to come live in America if they want to, while we're in the middle of the largest deportation in history. But the apartheid people, they can come over here. That's on Elon Musk's resume in the last 4 weeks we're talking. And last but not least, telling the far-right group in Germany that they should stop feeling guilty for things that may have happened during the era of the Third Reich. So literally telling them, look, the time for you feeling guilty about the Holocaust and all of that, You know, that was your parents, your grandparents. You should have, I mean, look, one of these we can kind of explain away. All of these happening in the last 4 weeks is, look, if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck. It's kind of hard to ignore all of that stuff. Every other day, something is coming out in regards to Elon that looks interesting, to say the least. Looking in the comments, Bob Dole fired Steve Bannon, if I can recall correctly. Wasn't aware of that. Was not aware of that. 4-star general with no combat experience. Look, I know he's fired a hell of a lot of people in the military, the head of the Coast Guard, head of the Joint Chiefs, an admiral. I mean, he's citing all, this is Trump. He's citing all this stuff on DEI. And you know, I mentioned this on my show last night in regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because people are often saying that you need to hand out positions, contracts, and promotions that are based on merit, not gender, sexual orientation, or race. I get it. I agree with that. But the whole claim that DEI is responsible for all of these folks being hired that have no merit at all, it sounds legit on its face, but the evidence does not measure up to it. And I'll tell you why I say that. How long has affirmative action been around? Since like the Reagan administration? DEI has been around for a little while too. Not as long, but probably at least a decade or more. The whole DEI stuff. This stuff has been around for a while. So you got plenty of folks that have been hired under these DEI practices and even more via affirmative action, which will lead to the obvious point I'm about to make. If they were hired and they did not have merit, you should have all sorts of examples of people that got hired via affirmative action or DEI and they fucked up at their jobs. Where are all those people at? You're firing people because of DEI, but you're not saying that they did anything wrong at their jobs. Where's all the fuck ups at? Remember, they're not supposed to have merit. They don't know what they're doing. Show me where they're fucking up. So the whole claim that the folks hired under DEI does not have merit, it doesn't measure up. One of my earlier guests stated that he believed DEI means, in his opinion, if you got 10 folks working for a company and they're all white, DEI means at least give a couple of these positions to somebody of color. I agree with that sentiment. It ain't got nothing to do with lacking merit. Find somebody that is not white that has some merit, damn it. You just seem to be deliberately hiring white people. That, I believe that's more of it, because I do, like I said, we're talking, affirmative action has been around since the Reagan administration, I think. So if people did not have merit in the airline industry, police officers, I mean, you know, we're talking the medical field, you should have all kinds of fuck ups. You should see a huge increase after affirmative action became the rule of the day, or DEI became the rule. You should see a huge amount of fuck ups from people in those groups, people of color, women, and the LGBTQ community. You know, gay doctors just leaving cloths inside of people's bodies after surgery. Just don't know what the hell they're doing. Where are all of the folks that do not have merit that are supposedly fucking up? I don't see it. I don't see it. So I'm simply saying that the claim that DEI is leading to folks getting jobs for which they have no merit, the data doesn't back it up. You got a couple generations of people that have been hired under affirmative action. If none of them have merit, you should be able to show all sorts of fuck ups. And there's just nothing being presented. There's nothing being presented. Even when Trump tried to make a spectacle out of the plane crash in Washington a couple of weeks ago, what has come out? You haven't heard, he was there to open his mouth and claim DEI. You notice he hasn't followed that up with anything at all to suggest that DEI led to somebody with no merit getting the job? You notice he hasn't followed that up at all. Made a horrible statement like that while the bodies were still in the Potomac, and hasn't cleared it up with any type of explanation as to why he said that. My guess is he probably will never tell you why he said that, which is kind of the par for the course. Say something controversial and kind of just leave it at that. Now, I get a lot of explanations from Maga and Trump supporters why he said it, but he'll probably never clear that up. DEI and woke are the next N-word, says Will. Yikes. I'll tell you this. When I hear people talk about DEI, me personally, and this, you may have a difference of opinion for you folks watching, but me personally, yeah, when I hear DEI, the first thing I think of is a black person. But it could be a person of color, a Hispanic, or a woman, LGBTQ, disabled. It could be any of those. But I kind of take it the way Will just said, is that it is starting to be somehow, some way being used as a dog whistle for, for a minority, a black person. But like I said, it can be used in conjunction with somebody that's disabled, a woman, LGBTQ, anything other than a white man. That's really what it is. Anything other than a white man, because that's who's been getting all the jobs. That's what DEI was created for. Not to give people jobs that didn't have merit, but to stop all of the jobs and positions of power from going to white males. Very similar to what Trump is doing right now. Now that he's gotten rid of DEI, probably about 90% of the people he's putting in there are white males. In terms of people of color, it's like, man, you can count on one hand. I mean, he literally is doing, based on what I'm seeing so far, he's literally doing exactly what they created DEI to stop. He's only finding white males that have merit. That's exactly what was happening before. I'll tell you something, how that can get out of hand. Trump won't be around, but how this can get out of hand. If you remove DEI from the workforce, or better yet, from universities and colleges is where it would be worse. You start removing it from schools, now you leave it up to the schools to choose who they want. So now all of a sudden, the more prestigious schools and colleges start looking like the Trump administration. Well, nobody's forcing us to put in minorities, women, and gays. So we're going to, all of a sudden they start seeing more favorable attention to white males or white people. So if most of the schools start being filled up with whites, well, then when it's time to graduate and look for a job, most of the people with merit are going to be white also. Because you need the schooling to get the merit in a lot of these positions. So I can really see how this could come, because I don't buy into the notion that if you get rid of things you used to think, if you get rid of things you do to prevent the horrors of the past won't come back. A lot of folks are saying that, listen, that stuff happened years ago, generations ago, decades ago. These laws, these protections are no longer needed. That was years ago. I don't buy that. I believe that in some cases that mindset is still out there. And if you remove those protections, that mindset will come back up to the top. Perfect example. The moment they reversed Roe versus Wade, several states went back to laws from generations ago. I think Arizona used a law from the 1800s. So, and they were fine with it. They were fine with that. So, yeah, I don't believe that those protections that are in place, let's say like the Civil Rights Act, you don't need that anymore. People are going to treat everybody fairly. No, they're not. No, they're not. So we'll see what happens. But I do believe we're on a path, once we remove DEI, that could possibly lead to future generations of people that used to benefit from DEI not having a merit to get those jobs. Start limiting who can get into the educational facilities, and that way when it's time to hire them in the career fields, they won't have the merit because this job requires a degree or this job requires, he wasn't able to get into the school. This is how you can do this. Hopefully I'm wrong. I want to be wrong on that. But I'm just simply looking at the blueprint, looking at the schematics from how it used to be done. And if you remove all of the guardrails, nothing's stopping you from going back and using those old plans. Looking in the comments, if you don't remember your history, you're subject to repeat it. Yeah, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. And that's also part of the schematics, is limit who knows, limit some of this conversation about history. That does help, because I get folks on the program all the time that'll tell you the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. And I had people tell me, listen, if the Confederates had won the Civil War, they were going to immediately free black people. I mean, you can get that. If you can get people to not, isn't that what some of the folks in Germany, quit talking about that shit. And that way, people don't know about it. Anyway, looking in the comments, nice, race is not important, says Gerald Jimison. It's always been important in America, though. It's always been important. I'll tell you, I've said this on the live as well many times. In this whole era of DEI, where people of color are allegedly getting a one-up on some of these jobs, that's always happened. We just didn't call it DEI. I've said this a million times on the program, is that we used to hire people solely based on being white. I mean, if you wanted to be the next fire chief, you weren't going to walk in there as a Hispanic woman and get that job. You knew you weren't. There's no way in hell you were going to get the job. It wasn't even available to you. You knew the next fire chief was going to be a white dude. You just knew that already. That's the way it used to be. They just didn't call it DEI. You think all that's based on merit? No. So, same thing in the military. You weren't going to be a general. You weren't going to be promoted through the ranks if you weren't a white guy. I don't care how many people you shot. I don't care how many bullets you took for the country. There's a ceiling for you. You can't get up there. Doesn't matter. So it's never been based on merit. It's never been based on merit. It's just right now we don't like the people that might be getting a little bit of benefit from it. Looking in the comments, mayonnaise boy welfare. I don't know what that means, Will. Oh my God. And who told you these people he's hiring have merit, says O'Finney. They're loyal. That's the merit. For Trump, loyalty supersedes everything. If you do it, listen, I got the education. I got the right people in place. All I need you to do is sign what your department requires you to sign. Technically, the tradition is if you're the head of this department, you're supposed to do this shit, not me as president. But I got the right people that's going to tell you what you need to do over there. So I don't need you to be educated. I don't need you to have merit. I just need you to be fucking loyal. That's what you're dealing with. That's kind of what you're dealing with at this point. We didn't have this until Obama. We didn't have what until Obama, Melissa? I'd be curious to know, because I can tell you right off the bat, when I said that people were hired and being white made a big difference, that happened way before Obama. So I'd like to know what you're talking about we did not have before Obama. Keep shrinking the federal government. The overreach is insane. We'll see. You might be right. I believe personally he's firing too many people, but it's above my knowledge. So I do believe down the line in one of these departments or the other, they're going to realize we got rid of people we need to keep. But until it happens, hey, he's cutting government, and apparently people think that's a good thing. So we'll have to leave it at that. Here's my take on it is this. I don't give a damn if you save $1 trillion in taxpayer funding. If it doesn't make a difference in my life, it's irrelevant to me. You bragging that you saved taxpayers $1 trillion, but I still got to go to work in the morning. I'm still driving the same car. I'm still living in the same place. Ain't shit changed in my life. It's meaningless to me. You might as well be walking out of the casino telling me how much you won at the card table. It's meaningless to me. Hurrah, great, good job. Means nothing to me. So now if he comes back and says, due to saving American taxpayers $1 trillion, I'm going to do this, whatever that is, for every American taxpayer. Now my ears are open and I'm listening. But just bragging about saving money, listen, this ain't a Geico commercial. I don't care about you saving money. What are you going to do for me with it? That's all. That's because you got a lot of Trump supporters that are hurrah, hurrah. He's not sending money for condoms, or he's not sending. How is your life changing though? It sounds great that money ain't going to USAID, or it's not going to study gerbils or whatever the hell that may be happening. Sounds great, but how is it changing your life? What is it doing for you other than making you feel happy that's not happening anymore? I'll tell you this, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not going to share any of that with me, I'd rather you keep paying it to the person studying gerbils. At least they got a fucking job. I'd rather you do that. So I want to hear how me as a citizen is going to benefit from it. Otherwise, I got folks somebody should be on the front of Mount Rushmore because he's doing this stuff. Meanwhile, your life ain't changed at all. You're still paying the same for eggs and gas, and inflation is up. What has it done for you personally? Until we get to that point, the jury's still out for me. I'm not throwing Elon out and saying he's an awful guy. He might turn out to be great if the savings make a difference in our lives. But if it doesn't, that shit's irrelevant. Will G says, black people couldn't be on the same sidewalk, let alone the same building, any foolish statement white people give about white. Wait a minute, what do you say? Any foolish statement white people give about white did racist shit. You did it already. Okay, I don't quite get what you're saying. You said I do. You said black people couldn't be on the same sidewalk, let alone the same building. That's obviously true throughout probably as late as the 60s in many areas. But then you say any foolish statement white people give about white did racist shit. You did it already, nothing new. I don't quite understand the rest of that. But everybody knows that, listen, up to about the 1960s, how African Americans were treated in business, in public, it was a segregated society. It was just varying levels on how bad you were treated, depending on where you were in the country. More favorable in Chicago, but it was still racist. But certainly a lot better for African Americans than maybe living in, Jackson, Mississippi. But it was varying degrees no matter where you were at. Looking in the comments, how would layoffs directly cause inflation? I didn't say layoffs would directly cause inflation. I'm just simply saying, though, if he's saving a bunch of money, laying off a bunch of people, and it ain't making any damn bit of difference in my life, I'd feel happier knowing that those Americans had a job again. I'd rather you keep them on. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to fire thousands of Americans, come forward with how you're helping benefit you and me. In addition to those Americans that got fired, because they still need to eat, they still need somewhere to live. I get that you might view their job as waste, but that's a human being. You don't treat the person like waste as well. You want to throw them in the garbage can too? Those are Americans. They need to eat. So, like I said, if it ain't making a difference in my life, it ain't something I'm gonna celebrate. I'm not gonna celebrate people getting fired unless I see something. And even if it is making a difference out of my life, I still have a lot of empathy for the fact that people are losing their jobs, career gigs. People are. Listen, if you're a janitor at some federal building and you lose your job, you just started there 6 months ago, you're making $14, $15 an hour, you can replace that. But if you're 2-3 years from retirement in a career position, not so much. Not so much. White people ask foolish questions about what if white people did this to black people. They did it already. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. Yeah. But you're going to get those questions. You are going to get those questions. Raising the unemployment rate decreases inflation. Could be this reason, devious as that may be. How many people would you have to fire to decrease inflation, though? Damn. So the inflation for you and me comes down a little bit, but At that point, it would have to be hundreds of thousands of Americans are completely unemployed. I don't know if that's that. I don't want that to happen. Listen, even with eggs being $8 a dozen or whatever the fuck it is, gas being $3 to $4 a gallon or whatever the hell it is, my life ain't that bad. I don't earn a lot of fucking money. My life ain't that bad that I would want to terminate the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of people so that maybe gas could drop by 50 cents and I could afford a dozen of eggs. This is one of the whole arguments of the election is people are saying that you sold out your damn country, maybe your family even, for cheaper eggs. I'd rather continue paying what I'm paying for groceries as opposed to seeing hundreds of thousands of people get fired. The high price of groceries, yeah, it's putting a little bit of financial hardship on me and many and you folks, I'm sure, as well. But getting fired puts a whole lot more hardship on somebody. I'd rather endure a little bit of that and sleep well at night knowing that, to get cheaper eggs, I'm not, celebrating hundreds of thousands of folks that may be homeless. To me, yeah, that does sound quite harsh and cruel. Looking in the comments real quick, it's government's debt, Tim. You being ignorant as hell. It's real people, Draco. It's real people. We will always have debt. You think after firing all of these folks, America's gonna, I forgot what they gave in terms of how much they saved, but the whole federal employee system, if you fired every federal employee, it barely makes a dent in our national debt. If you're going to try to get our national debt under control without touching the military and the Pentagon, you're not going to be able to succeed. That's where the real waste is at. Not somebody trying to get to work and earn a little bit of a living. You gotta, I mean, think about how much just one F-22 aircraft cost, or one F-35, or one F-15, or one F-16 Eagle. Just one of those. You realize how many? You could fire a whole department of people and not pay for that one aircraft. You want to solve some waste, that's where you got to go. Not firing real people that are trying to get to work back and forth. I don't, like I said, I can't favor it. I mean, to me, it's a bottom-up approach when there's plenty of waste we can curtail at the top. I mean, if we got rid of, let's say 10 fighter craft across the line. What do we still have? We got F-15s, we got the single engine F-16s, then we got the 22s and 35s. Those things cost tens of millions each. And we got dozens of them. If you just get rid of 10 of those aircraft, I guarantee that's worth more than all of the shit we've fired and got rid of already. And we would still have the largest military aircraft arsenal on the planet. One aircraft carrier. Just got rid of one of them. We got 12 of them. Just get rid of one of them. That's billions of dollars. Just get rid of one of those. We'd still have by far the most powerful. I think the second. I think China's the second with 2 aircraft carriers. We got 12. Just one of those. And you can save all those jobs. So I think the bottom-up approach, I'm not a fan of it. I think there's a ton of ways you could go in other directions. We don't need $800 billion on the military, though. Our military costs are so dumb. A bag of washers is like 20. Yeah, exactly. You could get rid of all of that mechanical waste in the military and not have to fire really anybody. I mean, you got all sorts of stuff, weapons that are sitting out in the desert. I mean, a lot of the stuff we gave the Ukraine, for instance, you could just sell that shit to a developing ally and profit off of it, as opposed to having it sit out there and having to keep maintaining it and shit. I mean, there's all kinds of things they could have did before firing people. That should have been the last resort. Even if it's waste, firing other Americans and putting them out of work should have been the last resort, not the first. Not the first. Unless firing them was going to save substantial amounts of money, and that's not what's happening. I don't really think it has anything to do with saving money. I think it has something to do with shrinking the size of the government and putting a smaller amount of people in control of more facets of our life. I don't think it has nothing to do with saving money. Because if you really wanted to save money, you wouldn't start doing things like USAID and all that little bullshit. That stuff is a drop in the bucket. As I just talked about, getting rid of a few fighter aircraft would easily make up that money quickly. And you can convince the American people a lot easier that, look, we got 400 of these, getting rid of 5 of them. We're still going to be by far the number one military on the planet. And just getting rid of 5 of these aircraft may save nearly $1 billion. That's a lot easier to understand than having to go and fire a bunch of people and make them damn near homeless. I don't think it has anything to do with saving money. I think that's what we're being told to help justify it. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think you're missing a point with all due respect. Let me know what the point is, Cruz, Gutierrez. Let me know what the point is. But yeah, I definitely believe they could have started in a better location than what they're doing. Real quick, I want to make sure I didn't miss a comment here. Like I said, folks, TikTok, we got a strike on TikTok. Let me see if it changed. If not, we'll be on tomorrow on the main profile. Let me see here. And, oh, yeah, TikTok is down. So we'll be down on TikTok for a few days on that one profile. Trump is solely at fault for 1/4 of the debt. I'd have to hear why you're saying that. That's heavy. Well, he did run up the national debt more than any president before him. So 1/4 is that much though? Damn. And you called him T-Rump. Didn't call him Trump, called him T-Rump. Anyhow, folks, I do got to step away. I appreciate that. I can't even count the likes because TikTok is down. I had to just run the show on his face. But nevertheless, I do appreciate you folks following the program. If you enjoy this type of dialogue, I get that some of it can lean left, but understand we certainly entertain right-wing perspective as well. We don't block, ban, or censor, so you don't have to be a liberal or even an independent. You can be MAGA, you can be far right. If you enjoy this type of dialogue, I want to ask that you follow the program on Instagram, TikTok, and a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Until then, I'll see you folks tomorrow. Thank you. And on my YouTube horizontal as well.